Neon lights twisted like poisonous snakes in the rain. In the lower reaches of the federal city in 2077, the air was filled with the burning smell of engine oil and ionized particles. Muxue held the old data tablet tightly and staggered through the crowded underground passage. The family's mecha factory, Muxue Heavy Industries, was blocked by the debt collection team of the multinational consortium last night. Her father's body was still lying in the freezing chamber of the emergency room. The doctor said coldly, "The price of bankruptcy." The beggar on the roadside raised his head mockingly, showing his rotten teeth. "Little girl, the Mu family is finished. I heard that your father owes the Black Dragon Consortium hundreds of millions of credit points, and he can't even sell the mecha shell." His laughter was like rusty gears rubbing together, attracting the echoes of the gangsters around him. Genius designer? Ha, the blueprints he drew can't even pass the official certification, and you still want to stand up? Go sell yourself on the black market. Muxue gritted her teeth and clenched her fists until they turned white. She's not trash. Since she was a child, her fingers have been able to outline the context of the quantum engine in the virtual interface, and her family has been proud of this. But now everything is in vain. Rain slid down her black hair mixed with tears. She pushed open an iron door hidden behind a garbage dump and sneaked into the rumored underground black market racing venue. Boom! The roar of the engine exploded like thunder through the entire cave, causing the ground to tremble. The track is a circular track suspended in an abandoned mine, surrounded by a high-energy particle barrier. The blue electric arc whips the air like a whip, making a harsh sizzling sound. The mecha flew past like a behemoth. Its anti-gravity thrusters ejected hot plasma flame tails, and its heavy metal body hit the guardrail, emitting the smell of sparks and metal debris. In the audience, the gamblers roared, "Jiang Chen! Kill that newbie!" The leading mecha was a black and red monster. In the cockpit, Jiang Chen's laughter came through the radio. "Garbage, if you dare to come to the black market, prepare to be turned into particle dust." His opponent was a clumsy modified product. The propeller failed, the fuselage tilted and hit the particle barrier, and was instantly torn apart by an arc. The shock wave of the explosion set off a heat wave, and the smell of burnt meat hit his nostrils. The driver's screams suddenly stopped, leaving only a twisted mass of wreckage falling into the abyss. Muxue's heart was beating wildly. She had never seen such madness. The official ban uses standard mechas. The monsters here are fused with illegal quantum cores and are so fast that they tear the air. She was about to leave when a cold voice sounded from the shadows. "You the designer?" Turning around, a cold and charming woman stood there, her black leather jacket tightly wrapped around her slender body, her short silver hair shining like a blade under the light. Her eyes were like ice, and she held a burned fragment of the blueprint in her right hand. Luo Li, the loser of the black market novice competition. She threw a data chip. "My mecha needs to be modified. The thruster is too slow, and the shield cannot support the particle cannon. Give me the blueprint, save me and win a game, and I will share 30% of the prize money with you." Muxue was stunned. The gangsters gathered around and laughed ferociously. "Luo Li, are you crazy? Find a little girl to modify? She can't even afford a black market ticket." One person spat. "Mu's useless daughter, right? I heard her father committed suicide, haha. Come to the black market to be a prostitute." Luo Li's eyes flashed, and the particle dagger flashed. The gangsters retreated, their faces turning pale. But Muxue didn't retreat. The debt list of the family factory flashed in her mind, and her father's dying instructions. "Swear, stay alive. Use your talent." She took the chip. 30% is not enough. 50%. And this blueprint is taboo. Strengthen the suspension thruster and integrate the adaptive shield. Sun Wan, the first assistant to follow her, squeezed out from behind the crowd. Her gentle face was covered with oil and she whispered, "Sister Xue, don't be impulsive. The black market blueprint will lead to official pursuit." But Muxue had already turned around and rushed into the nearby abandoned garage, and the data tablet unfolded the holographic interface. Her fingers danced like ghosts, and Muxue's pupils reflected countless quantum formulas. The streetlight flickered, reflecting her pale face. There were constant jeers around her. "Look, the little girl is drawing on waste paper." Sun Wan bit her lip and began to dismantle Luo Li's prototype mecha, a second-hand Shadow Wolf model. The engine casing was rusty, the propeller leaked oil, and gave off a pungent corrosive smell. 2 hours later, the blueprint was complete. Muxue handed it to Sun Wan, quantum locking targeting system. The shield will automatically adapt to the direction of the particle flow, and the thruster will use anti-gravity vortex to compress the energy, increasing the speed by 300% when it explodes. But this requires an illegal AI core. Sun Wan's eyes widened and her hands shook. Then, Sister Xue, this is monster level. The official blueprint has never been so smooth, and it feels like man and machine are integrated. She welded quickly, sparks flying, the heat wave of molten metal hitting her face. The quantum crystal in the engine cavity hummed and activated, and the blue light beat like a pulse. Luo Li sat in the cockpit, and the hatch of the thick mecha closed with a low clicking sound. She activated the system. The engine roared like a beast waking up, the anti-gravity thrusters sprayed, and cracks were squeezed out of the ground. The test track is right at the edge of the mine. Muxue directed. The mecha levitates and rises, clumsy? No. Luo Li's movements were as smooth as silk, and the miracle of the integration of man and machine happened. The propeller vortex exploded, the mecha rushed out like an arrow, and the scream that cut through the air was deafening. The particle barrier came and the high-energy arc struck like a giant python, but the shield adaptively unfolded, and the blue energy membrane twisted like a living thing, perfectly deflecting the attack and only making a slight sizzling sound. Sun Wan covered her mouth and her legs went weak. Oh my god! The shield is not broken. It is learning particle trajectories. The gangsters on the roadside were stunned. A gambler rubbed his eyes and shouted, "Impossible! Why did that broken mecha suddenly turn into a monster? The speed surpassed Jiang Chen's Shadow Wolf." Another person trembled. "Look at the pilot, Luo Li's face. She is smiling. I have never seen her smile before." Luo Li roared excitedly over the communication. "Muxue, this feels like an extension of my body. Quantum lock and aim, particle cannon locks on the obstacle in front fire." The muzzle roared, the red particle beam accurately smashed the void trap. The shock wave of the explosion kicked up dust, and the heat wave mixed with the burning smell of metal debris rushed over. The mecha turned sharply, and its thick body was as flexible as a feather. The suspended thrusters compressed the air, emitted a low-frequency roar, and rushed straight to the finish line. When he landed, the cabin door popped open and Luo Li jumped out, with messy silver hair and burning eyes. She grabbed Muxue's shoulders. "This blueprint is a miracle. I'll sign up for the novice competition. The bonus is enough for you to save the family 10 times. Sun Wan fell to her knees, tears falling from her eyes. "Sister Xue, you are a genius. No, a god. Those who laughed at us have all shut up. Their eyes look like ghosts." But Muxue's smile froze. The test data flashed on the tablet, and a line of red anomalies appeared. Blueprint core data overflow, unknown quantum signal intrusion. It was no coincidence that her heart sank to rock bottom. Before the family went bankrupt, his father once mentioned a transnational conspiracy, and what was hidden in the blueprint. The rain whipped at Muxue's face like a whip. She stared at Lin Fan's sinister smile on the communicator, her chest suffocating as if compressed by a quantum engine. The gangsters around were still whispering, looking at the three of them like hungry wolves. "Look, that little girl accepted Lin Fan's invitation? It's over. There's one more blueprint slave for the black market boss." A gambler with a face full of tattoos spit out bloody cigarettes. "Moose Trash and Luo Li the loser? The novice game will turn into a corpse, haha." Sun Wan held the welding gun tightly, her fingers turned white, and she whispered, "Sister Xue, let's go, that guy Lin Fan. It is rumored that he sold designers to the government." Luo Li's particle dagger buzzed, and she pushed back several gangsters who were approaching, but there was also a trace of hesitation in her eyes. "Muxue, reject him, we will go on our own." "But the debt." Buzz, her communicator vibrated, and an encrypted invitation popped up. "Sender, Lin Fan, black market boss." In the picture, a sinister middle-aged man smiled, with a flickering quantum blueprint in the background. "Miss Mu, your prototype mecha has been monitored. Cooperate, provide more blueprints, and I will help you pay off your debt." "Conditions?" Simple, all your talents will belong to the black market. Refuse? Jiang Chen will come to visit. Muxue's hands trembled, and the rain poured down again. Accept or fight. The fate of the family and the shadow of the black market hang on a thread at this moment. Behind the door is the core of the black market. The lights on the suspended platform flash like blood and neon. The walls are embedded with countless quantum blueprint projections, and the air is filled with the smell of ozone with high concentrations of ionized particles. Lin Fan was leaning in front of the throne-like console. His middle-aged face was covered with scars, and his left mechanical prosthetic arm was humming and turning. He was holding a quantum cigarette, and the smoke was like a ghost. Miss Mu, you came so fast. He glanced at the test video on the data tablet, the moment when Luo Li's Shadow Wolf mecha broke through the particle barrier. Yes, 300% speed increase, adaptive shield. But the data overflowed, you know what that is, right? Transnational finance, the group's tracking signal. His laughter was like a rusty gear. Black Dragon is my upstream supplier. I can cancel the debt owed by your father. The conditions are simple. Exclusive rights to use the blueprint and exclusive use of the black market. Refuse? Jiang Chen's particle cannon will bomb your workshop first. The surrounding guards grinned in agreement, and a bald man rubbed his fists. Boss, this little girl's blueprint? Ha, I heard that even the authorities couldn't recognize her father's drawings, so she came to sell scrap metal on the black market. Sun Wan took a step back, her face turned pale, and the data chip in her hand almost slipped. Luo Li clenched her fists, her eyes under her silver hair ignited with murderous intent, but Muxue stepped forward and looked directly at Lin Fan. Exclusive? Okay, but I reserve the right to make changes, and 30% of the resources will be divided into illegal AI cores and nanoalloys. Give it to me now. Otherwise, I will send your monitoring data to the official. Lin Fan was stunned and the guards stared at each other. Is this good-for-nothing daughter crazy? Dare she bargain with the boss? The bald man laughed loudly. Who does she think she is? A genius of the Mu family? Go to hell. But Lin Fan waved his hand to stop, and the prosthetic arm clicked, and 3 chips popped out. Deal. Little girl, you have the guts. If you win the novice competition, your resources will be doubled. If you lose, I will sell your bodies to the particle recycling plant. When the 3 of them left the platform, their backs were soaked with sweat. Sun Wan gasped. Sister Shui, you just... The eyes of those guards looked like they wanted to eat people. Lin Fan agreed, it was so weird. Luo Li growled. He looked at you like he was staring at prey. But the resources are available, and the workshop is in the hidden area of the black market. Now it is being remodeled. They got into the hidden workshop under the abandoned mine, and the thick alloy door slammed shut, blocking out the roar of the outside world. The lights inside were dim, and the air was sultry and smelled of burnt metal from the welding gun. Sun Wan immediately unfolded Luo Li's Shadow Wolf mecha. The fuselage was as thick as an iron coffin, with pits and rust on the surface, and the anti-gravity thruster still had scorch marks from the test. Strengthen 2 points. Muxue activated the data tablet, the holographic blueprint unfolded like a galaxy, and the quantum formula beat like veins. Electromagnetic pulse nemesis nanocoils are embedded in the core of the shield, which can absorb EMP waves and rebound with 3 times the power. High-speed turning gyroscope use illegal AI predict inertia, and the turning radius is reduced by 70%. When man and machine are integrated, it is like a muscle in the body. Sun Wan's eyes widened, and her hands trembled as she grabbed the nanoalloy. The blue flame of the welding gun spurted out, sparks splashed like a rainstorm, and the molten metal dripped onto the ground with a sizzling sound, emitting a pungent heat wave. Sister Shui, this gyroscope AI module has never been so detailed before. The coil density is so high that the official blueprint will crash the calculator. She murmured as she welded, sweat mixed with oil and smeared down her face. The guards laughed at us for being useless? Just wait and see this monster. Their jaws will drop to the ground. The modification was in progress, and Muxue Luo Li entered the simulation cabin. The virtual track projection unfolds, particle obstacles are coiled like a wild python, and the engine roar simulates shaking the entire workshop. Luo Li sat in the driver's seat and closed the hatch. The thick mecha felt like a second skin. Practice precise shooting of the particle cannon first. Muxue's voice sounded through the communication. The energy recovery system is activated. After hitting the target, the remaining particles will automatically recharge the shield, with an efficiency of 95%. Aim at the void trap, lock on fire. Luo Li's fingers flicked the joystick like lightning, and the muzzle of the cannon roared. The red particle beam tore the air and accurately smashed the moving target. The shock wave of the explosion set off a virtual heat wave in the simulation, and the burning smell seemed to hit his face. The recovery system buzzed, blue energy flowed back into the shield like blood, and the shield film became thicker. Muxue took a deep breath of moist air, and the sour smell of engine oil and corroded metal penetrated her nose. She crushed the confirmation button on the communicator and replied with only 2 words. Meet. Let's go. She turned around, her voice as cold as a particle ice blade. Family debt. The Black Dragon Consortium will not wait for us to cry. If Lin Fan wants to play, I will show him what the price of genius is. The 3 of them sneaked into the depths of the black market. The iron ladder creaked in the rain, and the sewage splashed with foul-smelling foam under their feet. At the end of the passage, an invisible force field door scanned them. The blue light was dazzling, and a low buzzing sound came out. Identity confirmation. Muxue Luo Li Sun Wan. Lord Lin Fan is waiting. During the training break, Luo Li took off his helmet, his silver hair wet and sticking to his forehead, and a rare softness flashed in his eyes. Muxue, this blueprint is not only fast, it understands me. She paused, her voice as low as the wind in a mine. Do you know why I broke into the black market? 3 years ago, in Jiang Chen's championship match, he drove the black and red Shadow Wolf, and the particle cannon swept the track. My family's transport team blocked the road, and he not only smashed the mecha, but also detonated the quantum the core. My parents' brother, all turned into particle dust. Revenge, I came to the black market just to kill him. Her fists clenched, but the tears in her eyes turned into flames. You saved my mecha, just give me the knife. In this novice competition, I want to show him what it means to be a wolf crawling out of hell. Muxue was shocked and held her hand. Jiang Chen? Lin Fan's trump card. My blueprint will also be your sword. Nano self-repair deck, the last link. She unfolded the details of the blueprint. The nano layer on the surface of the mecha will automatically reorganize when it is damaged in battle, absorbing surrounding metal debris to repair it, and the repair speed is 5% per second. When hit by particle cannons, it will heal like skin, and its hardness will increase by 20%. When man and machine are integrated, you won't feel pain, only faster. Sun Wan's eyes lit up and tears fell down. Sister Xue, Sister Luo Li, we are not useless. The family's revenge and the Mu family's debt are all thrown at Jiang Chen's face. Are those guards laughing? They will kneel down and lick it after the game. After the modification, the Shadow Wolf mecha stood like an awakened behemoth, with the nanolayer on its surface flashing blue, the quantum crystals in the engine cavity pulsating, and its thick body emitting a low hum. Lin Fan's communication popped up. The novice competition will start in 5 minutes. Remember, there is surveillance. Official spies are mixed in the audience. If you win, the resources will be doubled. Muxue and the other 3 rushed to the arena. The rain became heavier, and the gamblers in the audience roared. Jiang Chen's lackey is here? Newbie Luo Li is here again? The body was still warm last time, but this time he brought 2 prostitutes. The gangsters pointed at him. Muxue's useless design? Ha, Lin Fan's blueprint slave. No matter how fast it is, it will hit the particle wall. The track starts to float, the high-energy particle barrier roars, and the blue lightning whips the air. Luo Li jumped into the cabin door clicked, the engine roared and the cave exploded, and spider webs split open on the ground. Let's start. The 5 opponent mechas rushed out, their clumsy thrusters spraying plasma flames, and sparks flying when they hit the guardrail. At the first turn, particle cannons fired a salvo, and red beams poured down like rain. Luo Li sneered, the gyroscope predicted inertia. The Shadow Wolf turned sharply like a ghost. The nanodeck lightly rubbed against the particle whip. Self-repair unfolded with a sizzling sound, and the surface reorganized like a liquid unscathed. The particle cannon is locked, and the recovery system is ready. Boom. The leading mecha was blasted to pieces with precision. The heat wave of the explosion was accompanied by metal debris. The residual energy flowed back into the shield, and the blue film was thick and shining. Turn. Gyroscope prediction. Compress inertia. Muxue commanded. Luo Li jerked the control, and the mecha turned sharply. The thick body had no inertia to drag it. The anti-gravity vortex compressed the air, emitted a low-frequency rumble, and drew a perfect arc past the particle whip. Sun Wan stared outside, the welding gun stopped and her legs became weak. Sister Luo Li, her movements are like a mecha coming to life. The shells are recovered, the shield is full of blood. The air is sucked in when turning, and the sound of the engine is like a heartbeat. She rubbed her eyes and murmured, "If those gangsters see it, they will wet their pants and think they have seen a ghost mecha." The auditorium exploded, and a gambler rubbed his eyes and screamed, "Impossible! How can Luo Li's broken wolf turn so well? The shield is still full of health after taking the cannon." The gangster next to him trembled. "Look at the nanolayer. It's moving. Self-repair? Even the official mecha doesn't have it." The faces of fans guards are all green, they were just laughing at the trash. Sun Wan clenched her fists in the maintenance area and yelled, "Sister Luo Li, kill them!" Muxue stared at the data tablet, the blueprint was stable, but the overflow signal flashed again. Quantum invasion intensifies. After the game, the communicator buzzed and a video popped up. Jiang Chen's black and red shadow wolf filled the screen, he smiled ferociously, and the particle cannon in the background buzzed with energy. "Luo Li, you little bitch, won the novice match? Congratulations. I will hunt down you personally in the next championship preliminaries. I will blast your nanodeck to ashes. Muxue, right? I want your blueprint, even your people." At the end of the video, Jiang Chen's laughter echoed, accompanied by the low roar of the engine. Muxue's hands trembled and Sun Wan's face turned pale. "Sister Xue, he knows the details of the blueprint? Betrayed Lin Fan?" Luo Li's eyes boiled with murderous intent. "Come on, Jiang Chen. This time it's not just the track, it's a slaughterhouse." The rain poured down, the shadow of the black market became thicker, and the crisis was like a particle cannon, ready to strike. The rain was like the aftermath of a particle cannon, hitting the suspended platform of the black market arena, making a sizzling ionization explosion sound. Luo Li's shadow wolf mecha still stood next to the finish line. The nanolayers on its thick body shone with a faint blue afterglow, and the quantum crystals in the engine cavity pulsated and roared, panting like a giant wolf that had just swallowed its prey. The gamblers in the audience had not yet recovered from the shock. A gangster with yellow teeth rubbed his eyes, and his voice trembled like a broken propeller. "Then, how is it possible to break the wolf? Novices compete with 5 machines to kill, it turns like a ghost, and the shield eats the particle beam and rebounds? Luo Li, this bitch has changed, he's become a god." The bald guard next to him was livid, and his fists were clenching. They had laughed at the waste designers just now, but now their legs were as weak as the nanodeck melting. "Boss Lin Fan, this blueprint. That little girl Muxue, what kind of witchcraft was fished out of?" Muxue held the old data tablet tightly. The blueprint data on the screen pulsed steadily, but the quantum overflow signal flashed like a red warning light. She glanced at the audience. Lin Fan's platform was hanging high. The scarred face smiled sinisterly under the neon blood. The mechanical prosthetic arm clicked and popped out the data chip box. "Win, champion of the novice competition. Double the bounty, 2 illegal AI cores, 10 kilograms of nanoalloy, and a black dragon debt deferment order." The chip box hit the edge of the platform, making a muffled sound of metal impact, and the smell of ozone mixed with the sourness of rain hit your nostrils. Sun Wan rushed forward, her oily face covered with tears, and her hands trembled as she picked up the box. "Sister Xue, Lin Fan didn't play any tricks this time? We have enough resources to upgrade Shadow Wolf for 2 rounds." Those gangsters' jaws really hit the ground. Luo Li jumped out of the cabin, her silver hair soaked to her cheeks, the particle dagger still buzzing in her hand, her eyes like wolf eyes locked on Lin Fan. "I got the bounty, see you in the preliminaries." But Jiang Chen's video? Did you pass it on? At the end of the sprint, Luo Li's man and machine merged into one. The propeller vortex exploded. The air shrieked at speed, surpassing all opponents and crossing the line. Amid explosive cheers, the cabin door popped open, and she jumped out, her silver hair flying. "Muxue, the first win! The audience slumped down, mouths as wide as holes. Monster! Luo Li has become a god. That little designer girl is a witch. On Lin Fan's platform he squinted and smiled, but his prosthetic arm tightened on the handrail. The secret workshop is buried deep under an abandoned mine, and the thick alloy door slides open, blocking out the roar and rain from the outside world. It was as stuffy and hot as an engine cavity inside, with the smell of burnt metal from the welding gun and the pungent heat wave of nanoalloy hitting your face. Sun Quan immediately unfolded the workbench, inserted the chip into the projector, and the holographic blueprint exploded like a galaxy. Sister Xue, look! The AI core compatibility rate is 99%, and it can superimpose quantum lock aiming. In the next qualifiers, the hit rate of the particle cannon will exceed 100%. Luo Li took off her driving uniform, and her muscles were taut under the dim light. She wiped her silver hair with murderous intent in her eyes. Unsolved. Jiang Chen knows the details of the nano self-study. His men must be here. The first repair engine is overloaded, and when I want man and machine to become one, the shadow wolf bites his throat. Muxue nodded and her fingers on the data tablet flew, scanning the shadow wolf in real time. A lossless victory is a good sign, but the overflow signal, Lin Fan's monitoring port, is still in the blueprint, so it needs to be cut off. Suddenly, a low engine roar came from outside the workshop, like a hell mine cart crushing rock formations. The alloy door shook violently, sparks flew everywhere. A particle beam blasted in from the crack of the door. The blue electric whip whipped the air, and the smell of burning was instantly strong. Sun Quan screamed and retreated. The welding gun dropped and started to smoke. Enemy attack! Jiang Chen's men. The door burst open and 3 modified wolf mechas broke in. Their heavy iron feet cracked the ground, spraying plasma flames, and the red light in the engine cavity pulsed like a beating heart. The cockpit of the lead mecha popped open, and a strong man with tattoos grinned ferociously. The particle cannon on the control stick was charging and buzzing. Boss Jiang Chen's order. Luo Li. Seriously injured and disabled. Little bitch Muxue, we took away your blueprint data. And Boss Lin Fan copied it himself. Nano self-repair? I blasted it with one shot. The 2 latter mechas deployed MP pulsars on their flanks. Blue arcs danced like snakes, and the stench of air ionization filled their noses. Luo Li reacted like a wolf, grabbed the particle dagger and rushed towards the shadow wolf cabin door. But the first MP wave exploded, the blue grid covered her muscles spasmed and she fell to the ground, her silver hair was scattered, and her mouth was bleeding. Damn! The shield hasn't been activated yet. Sun Quan rushed to protect her, and the nanoalloy fragments she was hit by the particle cannon, and the blast of the fireball hit her face with heat. Her arms were scorched and she screamed, Sister Xue! Sister Luo Li's pulse is weak and she is seriously injured. Muxue's heart felt like quantum compression, and the data tablet alarm flashed wildly. Blueprint data leakage confirmed. Lin Fan's backdoor activated. Quantum intrusion fully activated. The enemy mecha approached and the strong man laughed loudly. Team of waste. Jiang Chen said, you newcomers are lucky, this workshop is a tomb. Give us the blueprint. Sell the body for recycling. Lin Fan's laughter was like the grinding of rusty gears, and his prosthetic limbs turned to pick up quantum cigarettes. The smoke was like a ghost. Little girls, this is what the black market is, intelligence flows. I only give you resources, your blueprints, and the exclusive right to use them is in my hands. Go away, the workshop is in Area C of the mine. The official spies are keeping an eye on it. The 3 grabbed the chip and rushed off the platform, their footsteps splashing with sewage foam in the rain. The whispers from the audience behind them were like the whipping of particles. Genius Muxue? A waste turned over? Jiang Chen will let them survive until the pre-selection? Ha! See you at the corpse recycling plant. Muxue took a deep breath of sultry air. The sourness of the engine oil filled her nose. She crushed the virtual lock on the data tablet, and a cold light flashed in her eyes like particle ice blades. Waste? The price of genius you pay first. She rushed to the workbench, grabbed the illegal AI core chip Lin Fan had just given, inserted it into the Shadow Wolf backup port, and flicked the blueprint projection with her fingers like lightning. Sun Quan, weld the nanocoil to the EMP nemesis. Luo Li, hold on, man and machine become one. Sun Quan gritted his teeth and climbed up, his burned arm trembling as he held the gun. Blue flames sprayed the fusion gold, and the coil was embedded in the rainstorm of sparks. Sister Xue, are you crazy? The heat engine only takes 10 seconds. The strong man laughed and the particle cannon locked on. Go to hell! The red beam blasted out, tearing the air and screaming. In an instant, the Shadow Wolf engine chamber exploded. The quantum crystal pulses like a heart beating wildly, the low-frequency rumble shatters the rock wall, the thick body bounces up, the nano self-repair deck begins liquid reorganization, the hardness increases by 20%. The red beam hits the adaptive shield, rebounds 3 times, the blue electric whip whips back the enemy aircraft. Taking the lead, the Ken Wolf shield collapsed, and the explosion fireball swallowed the cockpit. The strong man's scream echoed. No! Impossible! The shield rebounded. The nanometers are moving like they are alive. The fragments rushed in a heat wave, 95% of the energy recovery returned, and the Shadow Wolf's blue film was thick and shining. Luo Li forced herself to jump into the cabin door. Although she was seriously injured, the illegal AI gyroscope predicted the inertia, and the integration of man and machine was as smooth as muscle twitching. Muxue, give me the sword. The joystick was flipped, the Shadow Wolf's iron feet crushed the ground, the propellers swirled and compressed the air, and the roar tore apart the workshop. The second enemy plane fired EMP pulses, and the blue grid danced wildly, but the nanocoil absorbed it, and the reflected EMP wave was blasted back like thunder. The enemy engine cavity was short-circuited, sparks imploded, and the pilot screamed, "Monster! EMP nemesis?" Jiang Chen didn't say this move. The Shadow Wolf turned at high speed, with a radius reduced by 70%, and its thick body had no drag. The particle cannon was quantum-locked combo. The red beam accurately tears the hatch, recovers energy and recharges it, and the shield is full of blood. The third enemy plane retreated, its pilot's voice trembling like broken gears. Retreat! This is not a rookie wolf, it's a demon. Why is Lin Fan's blueprint so perverted? But Luo Li sneered, the engine overload mode was activated. Muxue adjusted the parameters in real time, and the data tablet gave a virtual feed. Past loading 120%, quantum lock tracking. The Shadow Wolf thruster burst into flames, shrieking through the air at 300% speed, and crashed into the side of the enemy aircraft. The nanodeck was chewing hard on the iron shell during self-repair, and the particle cannon exploded at close range. The explosion shock wave overturned the workbench, and the smell of burnt metal was mixed with blood. The workshop was filled with smoke and dust. Sun Quan sat paralyzed, her eyes as wide as bells, and her tears were mixed with ashes. Sister Xue, Sister Luo Li, you really killed 3 planes from a desperate situation with serious injuries? When the enemy screamed, his eyes looked like ghosts. We are not trash, we are gods. Luo Li's hatch opened, and her silver hair with blood-stained eyes but blazing eyes, he dragged his injured body off the plane. Muxue, the blueprint saved my second life. Jiang Chen's men will all be destroyed. Muxue picked up the enemy's data chip, inserted it into the tablet and scanned it. Lin Fan's backdoor confirmation, the blueprint was copied to Jiang Chen, and the Black Dragon Consortium tracked and locked it. She clenched her fists and her voice was cold with the smell of ozone. Lin Fan, Jiang Chen, it's your turn. Sun Quan, show Luo Li's wound, use nanoalloy internally. The Shadow Wolf is intact. The next round of upgrades, revolutionary blueprint, quantum stealth advancement. The sound of rain outside became louder, and the footsteps of guards came from the mine passage. Lin Fan's communication popped up. Little girls, you did a good job. 3 machines were lost, and Jiang Chen was furious. But the blueprint is exclusive. Your changes have exceeded the standard. I will personally supervise the battle in the qualifiers. Sun Quan bandaged Luo Li's wound, and her hands trembled as she packed the nanolayer to heal the flesh and blood. Sister Xue, they were all shocked. The enemy's corpse was still hot. Lin Fan panicked. Revenge, upgrade the slaughterhouse. Luo Li held Muxue's hand, her pulses steady as an engine. Jiang Chen, come on. This wolf bite your neck. Before the crisis was over, the shadow of the black market was charging like a particle cannon, and the workshop reverberated, and the team bounced up from hell, heading towards the peak of massacre. The smoke and dust in the workshop filled the air like quantum fog, and the pungent smell of burnt metal mixed with the heat wave of blood and nanoalloys was as sticky as the poisonous gas deep in the mine. Luo Li leaned on Shadow Wolf's thick iron legs, her silver hair sticky with blood on her cheeks. The nano-internal clothing layer on her chest pulsed slowly, emitting a low hum of blue light, healing the ruptured wounds in her internal organs, but every breath was like a tearing roar in the engine cavity. Sun Wan knelt on the ground, her burned arm wrapped in temporary nano-gauze. Her fingers trembled as she picked up the scattered welding fragments. Her voice broke like a broken circuit in her tearful eyes. Sister Xue, we won 3 machines, but Lin Fan's bastard's back door was all leaked to Jiang Chen. Black Dragon's debt suspension order? Ha, it's fake, the family factory is closed. The lock order has just been sent, and the debt collection robot will smash the door tomorrow. Sister Luo Li's pulse is still weak. So what if the Shadow Wolf's energy recovery is 95%? Jiang Chen comes in person in the preliminaries, the champion mecha's firepower is overloaded. Our wolf can't hold on. Her voice echoed in the sultry air. And the walls were still falling, and despair was coming like a landslide. Muxue stared at the worn-out data tablet. The red alarm on the screen was lashing like a particle whip. Black Dragon Consortium lock signal activated. Blueprint quantum overflow full frequency invasion. Lin Fan's backdoor replication rate is 100%. The knuckles of her fists turned white. The smell of ozone filled her nose, and the coldness in her eyes was like frozen quantum crystals. Can't you hold on? Sun Wan, have you forgotten the novice competition? They laughed at us as trash, and now the corpses are still hot. Lin Fan wants to be exclusive? Jiang Chen wants to copy the blueprint? Tell them that the genius's anger will burn your shields first. She slammed the workbench and the remaining illegal AI core popped out, and the projector exploded. In the holographic galaxy, blueprint data emerges like a torrent, and fingers fly like a stream of particles. The backdoor virus is eliminated and a new module is injected. Second-generation blueprint, start. Black hole simulator absorbs enemy energy field. Particle cannon hit rate conversion recovery is 150%. Photon stealth coding, nano-adaptive refraction. Visual radar is completely blind. Jiang Chen's overload firepower? The defense is as weak as paper, let's suck him dry. Sun Wan's eyes widened, the burn scars on her oily face twitched, and her voice trembled like the blue flame of a welding gun. Sister Xue? Black hole simulation? That's a taboo level. An official quantum forbidden zone. Even Lin Fan's inventory doesn't have this technology. Where did you come from? Oh my god, on the projection the energy vortex is spinning, swallowing light like a living black hole. She climbed up, grabbed the remaining 10 kilograms of nanoalloy, and welded the new frame overnight. The hammer hit the heavy frame in the rain of sparks, and the rumbling sound made the rock formations tremble, and the sweat mixed with ash evaporated into sour hot mist. Luo Li stood up forcefully, taking the nano-internal medicine to accelerate healing, and her muscle lines tensed under the light. She connected to the neural synchronization cabin. Her silver hair shook away the bloodstains, and her eyes like wolf eyes locked onto the projection. Muxue, give me a 95% synchronization rate. Man and machine become one. I will bite Jiang Chen's neck. The cabin buzzed. Nerve lines were injected into the Shadow Wolf like veins. The engine cavity roared in response, the data jumped. Synchronization 94%. 95%. Luo Li gasped and hit the bulkhead with her fist. It's so good. The wound seems to be fine. The wolf senses are all in my head, and the turning radius has shrunk to a ghost. The sound of rain outside the mine was like the bombardment of particle cannons, and the guards were approaching, but Muxue cut off all the ports, grabbed the Black Dragon debt suspension order and crushed it. Avoid Lin Fan's eyes and ears and move to the B-17 area of the abandoned factory. It is the edge of the black market, the lower ruins of the federal city, a blind spot for official patrols, but it is rumored that the Black Dragon Consortium is hiding experimental subjects. The 3 of them dragged the Shadow Wolf out of the workshop, cracking the ground with their heavy iron feet, the propellers humming compressed air, and the nano-coating concealed the heat signal and sneaked into the rain. Abandoned factories are buried deep in the lower levels of the city, with neon afterimages seeping through the cracks. The air is filled with the sourness of rusty iron corrosion and the muffled thunderous roar of distant tower engines. The alloy door slid open with a bang, and the interior looked like the corpse of a giant beast. Green condensation dripped from broken pipes, and a choking chemical mist hit your face. Sun Quan gasped and fixed the frame of the Shadow Wolf. The blue flame of the welding gun licked the black hole simulator. The energy vortex projection rotated on the thick body, making a low-frequency sucking sound like a vacuum pump sucking the soul. Sister Xue, the frame is welded. During the spraying of the photon invisible coating, the nano-liquid flows like skin breathing. Have you finished analyzing the weaknesses of Jiang Chen's mecha? The overload firepower is strong, but the shield is thin, and the engine cavity is exposed for 5 seconds. Second cooling window. Muxue nodded, and the data tablet scanned the enemy chip residue. Confirmed. Jiang Chen's black and red Shadow Wolf, fire quantum pulse cannon, single-shot armor melting, but the defense is only 70% of the nanobase, and the engine is weak after continuous overload. Our black hole field absorbs his energy, invisible dodges and counterattacks like teleportation. Luo Li jumped into the hatch, and the moment man and machine merged, the engine chamber of the Shadow Wolf exploded. The quantum crystal pulses like a heart beating wildly. The thick body bounces up silently. The photon coating is activated, and the visual refraction makes it melt into the fog like a ghost, leaving only the low roar of the engine echoing. Test drive starts. Luo Li moved the joystick slightly, and Shadow Wolf crushed the ruins with its iron feet. Gravels flew like rain, and the propeller vortexed and compressed the air. The speed soared to 400%, the turning radius shrank ghostly, the invisible coating flashed, and simulated particle beams were fired from Sun Wan's handheld cannon. The red beam shrieked as it ripped through the air, hitting Shadow Wolf directly. But the mecha dodged like a teleport, and the afterimage remained in place. The vortex of the black hole simulator opened, absorbing the red beam energy, and the shield surged by 200%. The rebounding blue electric whip pulled back the barrel. Sun Wan screamed and retreated, her eyes widened as if she had seen a ghost. Sister Luo Li. It disappeared. The particle beam was sucked away, the energy of my hand cannon returned to zero, and the shield still rising? Sister Xue, this is not a mecha. It's a space demon. Jiang Chen is so scared to see it. Luo Li sneered in the cabin. Her nerves were synchronized at 95%. Her senses were like extended limbs, and her voice roared through the communication. Muxue perfect. Man and machine are integrated, and every inch of the wolf's metal obeys my orders. Jiang Chen's firepower? Drain it into scrap metal. Suddenly, the data tablet alarm flashed wildly. Lin Fan's communication is invaded. The black market guard's heat signal is approaching. Jiang Chen's champion mecha is locked. The distance is 3 kilometers. Lin Fan's scarred face holographic projection popped up, and the prosthetic arm clicked and turned to clamp the quantum smoke, and the smoke filled the air with a sinister smile. Little girls move the B-17? The second generation of the blueprint exceeds the standard black hole simulation. Photon invisibility. The exclusive rights belong to me. Hand over the data. Otherwise Black Dragon's debt will double. Muxue, your father Mu's Heavy Industries went bankrupt. It was not intentional. Foreign. Transnational conspiracy, collusion between the Black Dragon Consortium and the government, the source of the taboo blueprint. Guess what? The projection was distorted, and the hints were like particle ice blades piercing the heart. Muxue was shocked, and the truth about the family's annihilation emerged, but she gritted her teeth and cut it off. Lin Fan, you will swallow your own ghost. Is Jiang Chen here? Let him see the wrath of a genius. The engine outside the factory roared like a hell mine car crushing, and the black market guard swarmed with 5 machines, led by Jiang Chen's black and red Shadow Wolf. The thick body is coated with blood-red nano-armor. The red light pulses in the engine cavity are like a devil's heart. The overloaded fire barrel buzzes and accumulates energy. The cockpit pops open. Jiang Chen's tattooed face is filled with a sinister smile. His voice is like iron filings grinding through the loudspeaker. Luo Li. Muxue bitch. Hands, I recovered the corpses of the next 3 machines. Your nano-self study? I'm melting the quantum pulse. Give me the blueprint, and let you use the Black Dragon bounty as a human shield. The guards fired particle beams. Red and blue electric whips tore through the night sky. The heat wave evaporated the rain, and the acid mist filled the air. Luo Li roared. Here we come! The shadow wolf activated its invisibility, teleported and flashed out a red beam bombardment, and the iron feet silently came closer. The vortex of the black hole simulator opened wide, absorbing the first wave of pulses. Energy recovery surged, and the shield's blue film was thick and shining. Jiang Chen's eyes widened and he flicked the joystick. The black and red shadow wolf overloaded and sprinted, with full firepower. The gun barrel was molten red and screamed. Invisible? Can't be detected by radar? A waste trick. But the shadow wolf was like a ghost, and the photon coating refracted and melted it into fog. The black hole field absorbed the residual heat of his engine. The speed of Jiang Chen's mecha dropped by 20%, and the shield flashed a red alarm. The guard's aircraft approached, and the EMP pulse exploded the blue grid. But the nanocoil bounced back, the thunder blasted back, and sparks exploded in the enemy's engine cavity. The driver's scream echoed. Monster! MP sucked away? Boss Jiang Chen, this wolf is invisible and eats energy like a black hole. The explosion fragments hit your face with a heat wave, and the smell of ozone burnt your nose. Luo Li integrates man and machine, turning without delay. The particle cannon quantum locks the combo, recovering 150% of the energy. The rebound whip shatters the shield of the second machine. The nano self-repair gnaws hard at the iron shell, and crushes and explodes. Jiang Chen was furious. Overloaded firepower blasted wildly. Red beams poured down like rain, and the factory walls melted and dripped molten metal. However, the shadow wolf teleported to dodge, and the black hole vortex swallowed most of it. The shield's health surged. Sun Wan screamed and worshipped from behind the bunker. Sister Xue! Jiang Chen's eyes are red, like he has seen a ghost. His firepower has been sucked, his wolf is shaking, and the engine cooling window is exposed. Muxue feeds data in real time. Luo Li, bite your throat. The shadow wolf thruster burst into flames and quickly speed 500% tears the air, stealth rushes. The iron claws tear open the exposed seam of Jiang Chen's engine cavity. The particle cannon explodes at close range. The black hole field absorbs the remaining energy of the overload. Jiang Chen's mecha shield collapses. The red light dims. His voice trembles for the first time, showing his timidity. Impossible. The energy is all gone? Where does this blueprint come from? Retreat. Guard cover. The black and red shadow wolves retreated. Tail flames were embarrassed. The remaining guard aircraft roared to pursue cover, and the engines roared away. The three gasped. The factory was filled with smoke and dust. The gravel was stained with blood on the ground. The shadow wolf roared and stood tall. The nano self-study flashed at 5% per second, a lossless debut. Sun Wan rushed forward and hugged Muxue's legs and burst into tears. Sister Xue! Jiang Chen escaped from the battle. The guards' faces were as white as ghosts when they screamed, and the black market was shaken. We jumped from mine waste to champion hunters. Lin Fan hinted. A family conspiracy, a transnational black dragon. Let's uncover it. Luo Li's cabin door bounced open, her silver hair flying and her body hurt. Kuan Yu's eyes were blazing. Muxue, the second-generation blueprint is amazing. The integration of man and machine almost broke Jiang Chen's neck. In the preliminaries, he will retaliate wildly, but this wolf is ready for the slaughterhouse. Muxue scanned the remaining signals, and the data tablet pulsed. The core experimental blueprint of the Black Dragon Consortium matches 80%, and the transnational conspiracy is locked. In the sound of rain, the neon lights of distant city towers flash, the shadows of the black market expand, and the roars of the ruins echo. The new blueprint is like a spark of revolution, igniting a prophecy of massacre at a higher level. The upper echelons of the federal city, the forbidden laboratory of the Black Dragon Consortium, have discovered the genius girl's incredible legend. The rain curtain is like a quantum whip whipping the ruins, and the sour rust smell mixed with the heat wave of burnt metal hits your nostrils. Among the broken walls of the factory, Shadow Wolf's nano-self-repairing blue light pulses like a beast panting. The 5% repair per second slowly closes the cracks in the thick iron shell. The engine cavity roars and suppresses, as if it is licking the residual heat after the war. Muxue held the worn-out data tablet tightly, and the red alert on the screen danced like particles. Jiang Chen's vanguard is approaching with heat signal, 8 machine formation, full laser network coverage, 1.2 kilometers away. Her fingers were cold, her knuckles turned white from clenching, the pungent ozone penetrated into her lungs, and her heart felt like a collapse of despair. Jiang Chen had fled from the battle, but the pioneer was even more ruthless. The 8-machine quantum lock, the fire network could melt nanoarmor. Although our wolf was a god, only nanoalloy fragments were left in the parts library. Sun Wan's hands were still shaking from burns. Luo Li had recovered after taking internal medicine, but the 95% synchronization rate of continuous battles would burn her nerves. After Sun Wan huddled up in the bunker, the burnt gauze oozed blood, and her voice broke like a broken circuit echoing in the mist. Sister Shui, 8 machines? Jiang Chen's Vanguard Wolf Pack. The laser net is a black market killer weapon. Continuous fire without blind spots. We just killed 5 machines. The energy recovery is 95%. So what? There are not enough parts. The wolf's thruster is on the edge of melting and can't last more than 3 minutes. She grabbed the last 5 kilograms of nanofragments. The blue flames of the welding gun trembled and licked the shadow wolf's iron feet. A rainstorm of sparks splashed acid mist. The sweat evaporated into hot and pungent breath, and her eyes were red and swollen as she stared at the engine roaring in the distance like a hell mine car crushing and approaching. Luo Li's cabin door was half opened. Her silver hair was wet and stuck to her cheeks. She hit the cabin wall with her fist and made a muffled thunder. The blue light pulsing through her nanometers accelerated healing, but her face was as pale as a neon afterimage. Muxue, open the cabin for me. Man and machine become one and I bite their throats. But the 8-machine laser net, the invisible coating cannot withstand the full frequency sweep. The wolf will be roasted by the net. Her voice growled, her muscles tensed like a bowstring, despair seeping into the bone marrow like rain. The 3 people's eyes met, and the air was sticky like a shield about to collapse. Suddenly, the red and blue electric whips in the distant night sky tore through the rain curtain. 8 black and red shadow wolf vanguards crushed the ruins with their iron feet. The red light pulses in the engine cavity of the thick body were like a group of demons roaring. The cockpit of the lead mecha bounced open. The tattooed deputy smiled ferociously and the loudspeaker rubbed against the iron filings. Luo Li bitch. Boss Jiang Chen has been defeated? Haha. 8 wolf laser, activate the net and make your ghosts invisible. Give me the blueprint, and the black dragon bounty will make you scum. The laser net exploded, and red lines were densely woven throughout the airspace. The heat wave evaporated the rainwater into acid mist, which stung the eyes. The first red beam swept across the factory wall, and the alloy instantly dropped molten metal, and the rubble collapsed. Sun Wan screamed and fell down, and the fragments tore through the gauze and blood spurted out. Sister Shui, the net is coming, the vision is completely blind. The wolf can't move. Luo Li jumped into the cabin, the nerve lines were buzzing, and the nerve synchronization jumped by 94%. The shadow wolf engine roared in response, but the laser net was approaching, and Iron Foot was locked by the red line as soon as it was lifted into the air. The coating flashed an alarm, and the energy dropped by 10%. Muxue gritted her teeth and pounced on the data tablet. Her fingers flew like a stream of particles in the smell of ozone. The last trace of projection popped up from the illegal AI core, invading the quantum channel of the Vanguard. Luo Li endure. Remotely hack into their fire control and paralyze the laser lock module. The green code surged on the screen and the backdoor virus came back. The lead mecha pilot's eyes widened, the joystick was locked, and his voice trembled. Do echoed through the communication. Invasion? Fire control is all black. Boss, this bitch tablet is eating our system. And the laser net is offset by 20%. Muxue sneered with a cold light in her eyes like a quantum ice blade. Deflection? Tell them the genius virus will burn your brains first. She injected a homemade nanotrojan, the 8-machine fire control was paralyzed by 30%, and cracks appeared in the laser net. Luo Li roared. Opportunity! The shadow wolf photon invisibility was fully activated. The nanocoating refracted like a ghost melting mist, and teleported out of the gap between the red lines. The iron feet silently crushed the ground, gravel splashed like rain, and the propeller vortexed the compressed air. The speed increased by 400%. The Vanguard wolves were in chaos. The deputy roared and overloaded the firepower. The quantum pulse cannon fired in a volley of melting red screams. The red beams tore the air and hit the face with heat waves. However, the shadow wolf ghostly dodged and left an afterimage in the net. The black hole simulator vortex opened wide. The low-frequency sucking sound was like a vacuum pump sucking the soul, devouring the first wave of pulse energy. The blue film of the shield surged by 200%, and the rebounding blue electric whip whipped back the enemy's gun barrel. Sparks exploded in the engine cavity of an aircraft, and the pilot's screams echoed. Monster! The pulse is sucked. The energy is returned to zero. The shield has increased. It is eating us. Sun Quan immediately repaired the behind. The blue flame of the welding gun licked the hot melt edge of the propeller. Nanofragments were injected into the self-repair coil. The voice trembled in admiration amid the sparks. Sister Luo Li. The wolf disappeared into the net. The black hole swirled like a living thing. The enemy wolf shook into a sieve, and the energy bar went crazy. Sister Xue was stunned. Half of the fire control was paralyzed, and their eyes were red. She threw out the last part, and the shadow wolf's iron claws melted and adapted, with a hardness of plus 20%, and ran away without damage. Luo Li's body and machine merged into one. Her senses were like extended limbs. At 95% synchronization rate, every inch of the engine's pulse echoed in her mind. Her thick body was extremely smooth. Compared with the clumsy turns of the enemy wolf, she roared. Muxue locked the lead. The data tablet's quantum aiming feed, the particle cannon recovered 150% of the energy burst. The blue beam tore the thin part of the secondary armor shield at close range. The engine's cooling window was exposed. The black hole field sucked up the overload energy, and the red light collapsed. The deputy glared and trembled and smashed the prosthetic arm into the cabin. Impossible! The fire control is black, and the black hole is eaten up? Boss Jiang Chen, this wolf space demon, the vanguard is wiped out. The explosion fragments hit the nostrils with a heat wave, and the smell of burnt ozone filled the air. The residual 6 aircraft swarmed to cover and retreated. The tail flames roared away in a panic, and the laser net shattered into red lightning. The shadow wolf stands in the ruins, its nano self-study flashes, its engine roars in victory. Luo Li's cabin gasps and her silver hair flies. Muxue, so happy. 8 planes chased me, but they turned into corpses. Man and machine become one. Your blueprint makes the wolf listen to my heartbeat. Sun Quan threw herself on Muxue's legs. Tears mixed with ashes, and her burned hands trembled and pointed at the shadow wolf. Sister Xue! The enemy driver's face was as white as a ghost when he screamed, and the deputy's last look was like seeing a demon. We jumped from the collapse of despair and slaughtered the 8 wolves. Word spread in the black market. You are gods. Muxue helped her stand up, and the data tablet scanned the remaining letters. Called Cold Voice. It's not over yet. Sneak back to the black market and register for the intermediate competition. Lin Fan's ghost, we force him to reveal himself. The 3 shadow wolves stalked through the rain curtain. The nanocoating concealed the heat signal. The thick iron feet stepped on the lower pipes. Green condensation dripped and choked the nose, and the neon afterimage seeped into the urban abyss from the cracks. In the center of the black market, the neon lights of the underground track flash like a particle carnival. The air is mixed with engine oil and the sour smell of blood and sweat. Crowds crowd the registration desk. Passers-by whisper in shock. I heard that B-17 Luo Lying Wolf slaughtered Jiang Chen's 8 pioneers? Lossless? That blueprint. The forbidden black hole. On the registration table, Lin Fan's scar-faced prosthetic arm clicked and turned. Quantum smoke curled up and he smiled sinisterly, and a holographic projection popped up pretending to hand over his hand. Muxue's little genius, Luo Li Wolf King. I misjudged during the pre-selection, and the second-generation magic skills shocked the black market. Apology qualification source compensation intermediate track upgrade chip. 50 kilograms of nanoalloy, 2 illegal AIs. Forget the exclusive share. Happy cooperation. He threw out the chip box and the blue light inside was pulsing, but Muxue's data tablet scanned it, hiding the trace. The microfrequency of the tracking device was beating like the heart of a poisonous insect. She squeezed her fists and continued with a sneer on her face. Lin Fan, remember, the genius's blueprint is not your dog leash. Sun Wan's eyes widened and she whispered, Sister Xue, his eyes are gleaming and he has so many resources. Luo Li's wolf eyes locked on Lin Fan's projection and growled. Boss, see you on the track. I'll keep Jiang Chen's neck. Passers-by in the crowd gasped and a strong man trembled. Lin Fan lowers his head? Luo Li slaughters the 8 wolves. Muxue is horrified. This team is invincible. Sneaking into the maintenance area, Sun Quan unpacked and welded new alloys. Blue flames licked the shadow wolf's thick frame, and the hammer struck the rock formation with a bang. Muxue accessed the family's old files and dug out the encryption left in her father's cryopod on a worn-out data tablet. Mushy's prototype blueprint, first draft of black hole simulation, signed by partner Lin Fan, transnational Black Dragon injected funds, leaked on the eve of the official ban. Her heart was as frozen as a quantum crystal shattering, and her voice was cold in the smell of ozone. Sun Quan Luo Li, the mole. Lin Fan is not the boss. He is the prototype supplier of father's blueprint. Bankruptcy conspiracy, he sold us to Black Dragon, and the debt was covered up by false appearances. This tracking the tool is to lead us into the laboratory. Sun Quan dropped the welding gun, his face twitched with burns and his eyes widened, his voice broken. Sister Shui, Lin Fan? The talent my father gave me, he destroyed the Mu family? We believe in his resources now in the intermediate competition. He will surround and kill. Luo Li's nerve synchronization test in the cabin, punching the cabin wall with thunder. Blood stains on her silver hair, eyes blazing and firm. Muxue bond? From the mine waste to the slaughterhouse, our 3 lives are one. Tracking, hacking his system and using it as bait. Jiang Chen picked the provocation is coming, I'll simulate it. She connected to the simulation cabin, the Shadow Wolf shadow engine roared. The gyroscope illegally turned the AI by 70%. The black hole vortex swallowed the projection of Jiang Chen's black and red wolf. The recovered energy surged, and the human-machine integration smoothly crushed the clumsy enemy shadow. The big screen of the black market suddenly flashed. Jiang Chen's tattooed face was live broadcast with a ferocious smile. The whole black market was boiling, and the loudspeaker scraped iron filings. Luo Li. Muxue genius bitch. The Pioneer 8 corpses are so hot, you are invisible in the black hole? In the intermediate competition, I will personally lead the 10 wolves to surround you. The laser network will upgrade the quantum lock, and the firepower will melt your shield. Give the blueprint to the Black Dragon, otherwise the factory will be destroyed. The family debt will be increased by 1 billion. And the human shield will be used until death. The crowd was in an uproar, and passers-by stared. Trembling whispers. Jiang Chen is crazy, 10 wolves are surrounding him? Luo Li tu ba. Now at the intermediate level, he wants to explode the mecha. Sun Quan hugged her knees, fear bursting with confidence. Sister Shui, his voice is trembling, his eyes are timid. Our second-generation wolf. The simulation has won. Muxue deleted the tracker, planted the anti-Trojan into Lin Fan's channel, and the data tablet pulsed. Black Dragon laboratory coordinates unlocked. Prototype blueprint matched 95%. Mole locked. Luo Li jumped out of the cabin, held Muxue's shoulders, and whispered with her silver hair close to her. Muxue, prepare for the intermediate level. Your anger, my wolf claws, Lin Fan's inner ghost, we will chop it up. The truth about the family. Slaughter after the game. The engine thundered outside the rain, the black market was neon and blood red. The intermediate track roared prophecies. 10 wolves surrounded and killed. The revolutionary blueprint will detonate the abyss of transnational conspiracy. The ghost of the ruins is gathering momentum, igniting the peak massacre. The blue flames in the maintenance area licked the shadow wolf's thick frame. 50 kilograms of nanoalloy were stacked like pieces of the Milky Way. Sun Quan burned her arm and the gauze oozed blood. But she gritted her teeth and hit the rock formation with the hammer. A rainstorm of sparks splashed up metal acid mist, and a pungent heat wave hit her face. Her breathing cracked like a bad circuit. Her eyes were red and swollen as she stared into the shadow wolf's engine cavity, and growled. Sister Shui, the hardness of these 50 kilograms of new alloy is off the charts. Lin Fan's resources are weird but they work. The thrusters are all welded, and the self-repairing coils accelerate at 7% per second. The wolf is now biting iron and steel. The blue flames of her welding gun danced wildly, and the nanoblocks melted and injected into the iron foot joints. Her thick body trembled slightly, emitting a low hum like the pulse of a beast waking up. Luo Li's cabin door was half opened, Her silver hair was wet and stuck to her cheeks. Nano-blue light pulses were taken internally to heal the last cracks. She jumped out of the test synchronization. The nerve line injection buzz jumped by 96%. Her fist hit the bulkhead and the thunder echoed. Muxue, the integration of man and machine is smoother. The gyroscope is in the simulation turning 75%. Jiang Chen's black and red wolf is as stupid as an iron pig. I can wrap around his neck. A crowd of passers-by gathered around the edge of the maintenance area, whispering tremblingly. Luo Li slaughtered the 8 wolves without any damage? The shadow wolf welded a new alloy. The engine's red light pulse is 30% stronger. The black market beast is going to explode in the intermediate competition. Muxue held the old data tablet tightly, and the green code on the screen was scanning Lin Fan's chip. 2 illegal AI missiles were fired into the core. The anti-plant Trojan had eaten away 95% of his system. The coordinates of the Black Dragon laboratory were locked like a poisonous hook. Her fingers flew like a flow of particles, and she connected to the second-generation blueprint projection. The black hole simulator's vortex shadow rotated, and the low-frequency sucking sound sucked the soul like a vacuum. The particle cannon recovery module flashed 150% red bar. Inventory completed. Energy recovery 98%. Photon stealth coding upgraded to nano-adaptive. Full-frequency radar blind zone expanded by 20%. Sunwan, note enter the final chip, the upgraded version of the intermediate track, and the quantum lock is aimed at feeding Luo Li's brain waves. The ozone smell of the tablet was pungent, she ordered in a cold voice. Sunwan took the chip with a trembling hand, pressed her burned hand into the center of the shadow wolf. The blue electric whip exploded. The engine cavity roared like a hell mine cart crushing the rock formations. The entire machine's nanometer pulses were synchronized, and the thick iron shell contracted like living muscles. The strong passerby stepped back with his eyes wide open, his voice trembling like chaff. Tab genius! When the chip is pressed, the wolf's eyes are bright red, and the black hole vortex spins like a swallowing star. Lin Fan feeds the divine beast with resources, and Jiang Chen, the top 8 in the intermediate level, is dead. The anger in Muxue's heart was as suppressed as a collapse, and her father's encrypted file flashed with Lin Fan's signature. She clenched her fists and said, "The repair is over. Jiang Chen's 10 wolves are threatening? Let him come. Full control of the blueprint, we will cut off the root of the conspiracy." The big screen of the black market flashes blood red. The countdown to the top 8 of the intermediate competition is carried out with Particle Carnival. The underground track transforms into a holographic projection of the volcanic lava canyon. The red and black lava river surges like the blood of hell. The high-temperature plasma fountain explodes and the heat wave steams the air, and the sulfur and sour smell mixes. The engine oil filled the nostrils, and tens of thousands of black market fanatics gathered in the stands, whispers boiling in the neon mist. Luo Lying Wolf second-generation god. Jiang Chen personally brought the 10-wolf quantum lock, and killed the lava canyon track. Who will survive? Lin Fan's scar-face prosthetic leg appeared with a click. At the VIP desk, quantum smoke shrouded the sinister laughing projection. The battle of the top 8 begins. Luo Li Ilong versus Jiang Chen's team of 10 machines. Volcano rules. The lava-swallowing machine will be eliminated, and the blueprint winner will swallow the Black Dragon bounty. The crowd was in an uproar, and passers-by screamed and trembled. 10 wolves surrounded and killed? The shadow wolf slaughtered 8 without any damage, and now the molten shield. Luo Li is dead. Luo Li jumped into the cabin with 97% neural synchronization. The shadow wolf's thick iron feet crushed the entrance of the track, the engine roared and suppressed, and the nano-coating flashed and was ready to go. Muxue and Sunwan sneaked into the maintenance pit in the background, and the data tablet was connected in real time. Sunwan dismantled the remnant armor of the previously captured Pioneer, and pried open the engine with a burned hand to expose the cooling window. Her voice broke in admiration. "Sister Xue, Jiang Chen's weakness of the wolf has been confirmed. The shield is 70% thin, and it is weak for 5 seconds after the overloaded plasma ejection. The black hole is just sucking." The quantum whip of the race whistle exploded, and 10 black and red shadow wolves sprayed out high-temperature plasma tail flames, and the red and orange molten flows licked the track like a devil's tongue. The leader Jiang Chen, who had a tattoo on his face and a ferocious smile, amplified the friction of iron filings. Luo Li bitch. My home in the lava canyon. The 10 wolf plasma nets will spray you invisible and roast you. The blueprint give it to the black dragon, or the bones will melt into slag. The heat wave evaporated the air into acid mist, which stung the nose and irritated the eyes. The first wave of plasma fountain exploded, and the red liquid poured down like a rain of blood. The lava river on the track accelerated towards the shadow wolf. The shield alarm flashed red. The temperature soared by 80%, and molten metal dripped from the edge of the half-melted iron foot. In Luo Li's cabin, his silver hair was flying, his muscles were tense and he was roaring in despair. Muxue, the heat is too strong, 10% of the coating is ablated. 10 wolves are outflanking. The thruster is stuck in the melt flow. Passers-by in the audience gasped, and a girl screamed and held her head. Shadow wolf trapped in lava. Jiang Chen's plasma network is fully activated, and the Luo Li coating has failed. He's dead. Sun Wan shook off the welding gun in the pit, and his burned face was pale and twitching. Sister Xue, it's too late to analyze the weakness. Is it weak due to plasma overload? They don't give it a chance. Muxue gritted her teeth and let the cold fingers fly around the tablet. The illegal AI core popped up in the smell of ozone, and the real-time optimization blueprint was injected. Luo Li, Barrett. Photon invisibility is fully activated. Black hole simulator is preheated, and the lava flow is reversed. The green code surged and pushed the nanocoating to adapt. The shadow wolf disappeared in an instant like a ghost in the melting mist. Jiang Chen's team was in chaos. The cockpit's red alarm flashed wildly. The deputy's eyes widened and the trembling communication echoed. Boss, the shadow wolf is gone. The radar is completely blind. Stealth upgrade. The lava flow is still surging. Where is it hiding? The plasma net sprayed randomly, and the red liquid splashed against the canyon wall and melted it. Metal rain dropped, but the ghostly shadow wolf sprang out of the gap. The black hole vortex opened wide, and the low-frequency sucking sound was like a vacuum monster, reversing the lava river. The red and black molten flow rolled back like a huge wave and swallowed the iron feet of the tails of the two aircraft, and the engine cavity dimmed with red light and collapsed. The heat wave of the explosion hit the nostrils, the smell of burning sulfur filled the air, and the driver screamed, "Monster!" The lava is sucked back into the black hole? The shield is zero, the overload is weak and eaten up. The whole place was boiling and passers-by punched the railings and yelled. The black hole reverses the lava? Shadow Wolf Space Demon Jiang Chen's 2 wolves slag. Mu Xuefeng's tablet god is optimized. Invisible teleportation is invincible. Sun Wan's dismantling of the armor in the pit fed the weak points of the armor. Her burned hands were stained with blood on the circuit board. Her voice trembled with confidence. Sister Xue, confirm. Jiang Chenlong's cooling window is exposed. The black hole specializes in absorbing overloaded plasma. Recycle 200%. Luo Li's body and machine are 97% synchronized. Every inch of the engine in her brain pulses like a heartbeat. Her thick body smoothly crushes the clumsy enemy wolf. She roars. Lock the 3 machines. The data tablet is quantum aimed, the particle cannon recovery soars, and the blue beam is close the distance toward the thin shield. The black hole field sucked up the remaining energy of the plasma. The engine of the 3rd machine exploded with sparks, and the driver's prosthetic arm smashed into the cabin and trembled. Impossible. The plasma was swallowed and the energy returned to zero? Boss, 8 wolves are left, but the shadow wolves are not hurt. Muxue sneered and injected the pulse wave module. The blueprint pulse was activated. The global EMP blue electric whip exploded, paralyzing the fire control of 5 machines. The laser lock shifted by 40%. The remaining wolves in the canyon lava collided with each other, and the iron feet entangled and melted into slag. Passers-by in the audience screamed and their admiration collapsed. An old man burst into tears and pointed to the sky. Pulse clears the audience. Genius Muxue kills 5 wolves with 1 click. Sun Wan's weakness is solved. Luo Li Wolf King is unharmed. Jiang Chen's face turns green. There are only 2 wolves left in the top 8. And Jiang Chen's black and red shadow wolves are approaching in a duel. The high-speed Euro battle is activated. Gravel is flying on the canyon wall of the track. The engines are roaring and colliding like thunder mine cars. The plasma tail flames are spitting heat waves to steam each other's faces. and the particle cannons are blasting each other's blue and red light whips to tear away the pungent ozone in the air. The sweat in Luo Li's cabin evaporated, the nerves burned and the pain was 98% synchronized. The Shadow Wolf gyroscope illegally turned 78%, smoothly flicked its tail to dodge the clumsy pursuit, and the iron claws scratched the enemy's shield. Jiang Chen, come on the neck. The tattoos in Jiang Chen's cabin twisted and roared. The overloaded plasma fountain exploded with red waves, but the black hole vortex swallowed most of it. The rebounding blue electricity was withdrawn from his engine cooling window. The energy bar dropped wildly, and the shield was on the verge of collapse. He trembled and locked the joystick, and his voice cracked and amplified. Bitch blueprint. The black hole eats my plasma? I'm a quantum lock. The red lock tried to catch it, but Muxue's tablet hacked and deflected. The Luo Li particle cannon recovered 150% of the blue beam and hit the exposed window. The red light in the engine cavity was extinguished, the explosion debris poured down with hot rain, and the black and red wolves rolled into the lava abyss and were eliminated. The whole place was filled with excitement, and the crowd roared at the railings. Luo Li narrowly won. Jiang Chen singled out the corpse, crushed by the Shadow Wolf gyroscope, and the particles blasted each other without damaging each other. The top 4. The Legend of the Black Market. After the game in the maintenance pit, Shadow Wolf Nano's self-trained blue light pulsates, the engine roars in victory. Luo Li jumps out of the cabin, her silver hair flying, holds Muxue's shoulder and gasps. Muxue, your pulse wave cleared the field, a narrow victory. 3 lives merged into one. Jiang Chen's neck was broken. Sun Wan hugged the disabled person. A burst into tears, his burnt hand trembled and pointed at the black hole projection. Sister Xue, the energy recovery increased by 300%. All passersby knelt down. Deputy Jiang Chen finally screamed and his face turned as white as a ghost. But Lin Fan's prosthetic arm broke in with a click, and the scarred face smiled sinisterly and threw out the seizure order. Hologram. The projection locked the blueprint file. Congratulations to the top 4. But the exclusive rights to the blueprint have expired. 50 kilograms of nanoalloy are bait, and the Black Dragon Consortium has bought it out. Hand over the prototype, and I will give you the coordinates of the Black Dragon laboratory. Otherwise the family debt will explode to 2 billion, and the debt collectors will attack the repair area. Muxue's data tablet secretly eavesdropped on his communications, and the multinational consortium's cold voice echoed. Lin Fan, the prototype blueprint for the destruction of the Mu family has been obtained. The father's suicide is our debt trap. The young genius is captured alive. The quantum engine experimental product. Her heart was as frozen as quantum fragmentation. Her fists squeezed blood. Sun Wan's eyes widened and she screamed. Sister Xue, he called. The truth about my father's destruction of the family, the Black Dragon's collusion, Lin Fan's inner ghost betrayed us. Luo Li's eyes were blazing, and she held the particle gun in a low growl. Lin Fan, chop you up. Revenge starts from the laboratory. The black market alarm sounded. The thunder of the debt collector fleet's engines approached outside the maintenance area. The red and blue electric whips tore through the rain, and the greater crisis roared in the neon blood. The door of the Black Dragon laboratory opened, and the fangs of the transnational conspiracy came. The rain curtain is like the neon blood of quantum fragmentation, pouring down on the metal dome of the black market maintenance pit, making a thunderous roar. Acid rain seeps through the cracks and drips from the circuit boards with a sizzling sound. The smell of ozone and sulfur burnt mixes into a suffocating fog. The engines of the debt collection fleet roared as they approached. The red and blue electric whips tore through the night sky like the fangs of a hound. 20 iron-winged falcons marked with black dragons swooped down to lock onto the pit. The heavy alloy wing blades cut through the rain and fog and emitted a high-frequency roar. The hot exhaust evaporated and water droplets rolled into white mist. Lin Fan's scarred face took a step back as his prosthetic limbs clicked. A sinister smile distorted the projection amplification, and his voice was like the friction of worn gears. Muxue, hand over the blueprint, and the Black Dragon coordinates will give you a way to escape. Otherwise, the debt of 2 billion will explode. The family's old side of Mu's heavy industry will be melted into slag, and the young genius will also. The experimental product has been completed. Passers-by in the black market outside the pit scattered when they heard the alarm. The strong men stepped back with wide eyes and knocked down the cargo box. Their voices trembled and broke. Lin Fan betrayed the god team. The Black Dragon Falcon sealed the pit. No matter how good the Shadow Wolf 2 was, it couldn't fly out. Luo Li Pulse cleared the area and slaughtered 10 wolves? Now the Det Machine Group electric whip network is repaired. The hole is like a grave. Sun Wan's burned arm gauze dripped with blood on the circuit board. Her face was as pale as nanogray. She picked up the welding gun and shook it like a short circuit. She screamed and hugged her knees. Sister Xue, it's a trap from my father to destroy the family. We have full control over the blueprint and can't stop the 2 billion iron wings. No matter how much alloy Sun Wan welds, it won't stop us. Melted into iron juice. Luo Li's hair was wet and stuck to her cheeks. The handle of the particle gun was white, and her knuckles were bleeding. She growled and glared at Lin Fan with blazing wolf eyes. You ghost, chop off your prosthetic limbs before burning your laboratory. But the Shadow Wolf engine chamber only hummed for repairs, the nanopulsation was dim, and the hatch was half closed and unable to move. Muxue's heart was frozen like a quantum collapse. The green code on the old data tablet screen was scanning Lin Fan's prosthetic chip. The anti-plant Trojan gnawed the aftermath and exposed the red dot of the tracker. The Black Dragon satellite lock frequency pulsed at 3 million Hz per second, eavesdropping on the whole area. Her fingers were as cold as a particle storm, and the pungent smell of ozone hit her face. 3 illegal AI cores popped out. She tried to hack in reverse, but the firewall backfired like an iron wall. The tablet overheated and hummed with melt glue dripping from the edge. Damn, Lin Fan's chip is quantum encrypted. 95% of the implants are eaten away and there is still a back door. The satellite locks me. At our position, the Falcon plasma cannon preheats the red light pulse, and the alloy on the top of the pit cannot last for 30 seconds. A passerby girl poked her head from the edge of the pit and screamed and trembled. Genius tablet god? The black hole is invincible in the intermediate competition. Now it is blocked in the rainy night, and the Black Dragon satellite cannot be blinded. No matter how fast Muxue's fingers fly, they can't penetrate the military frequency. Dead end. Sun Wan climbed up and dismantled the Shadow Wolf skeleton, prying open the heat-resistant alloy welds with her burned hands, and the blood-stained nanoblocks melted and licked by the blue flames. Her gasping voice was as broken as a broken fan. Sister Xue, hold on. 50 kilograms of alloy residue are left. I welded the 3rd-generation skeleton to upgrade the heat resistance, but the nerves in my arms were burned out, and the welding gun shook off sparks. Self-immolation, the heat wave scorches the lungs, I can't stand the blockade. Lin Fan's prosthetic limb clicked to seal the pit switch, and the projection flashed Jiang Chen's tattooed face with a ferocious smile. Muxue Jiang Chen's allied military guards, the black market is closed. The semifinals of the semifinals are postponed, you break out? Shadow Wolf coating ablative residue, try the Black Dragon Falcon wing blade to cut iron like mud. The crisis was like lava pressing down on her. Muxue gritted her teeth and knelt down with a tablet pressed against her chest. The rain seeped into her hair and the green code on the screen blurred. Her father's encrypted file echoed in her mind. Lin Fan's signature leaked the prototype blueprint to the Black Dragon Consortium behind Jiang Chen. Transnational conspiracy to use forbidden military mecha technology. Quantum entanglement transmission prototype. Her father refused to supply and committed suicide. Mu's bankruptcy debt trap was completely exposed. Her anger was suppressed like a collapse. She roared and injected the ultimate anti-planting Trojan. The AI core melted at the edge and exploded with blue electricity. Finally, the tracker's red dot collapsed, and the satellite lock shifted by 40%. But the Falcon was already swooping down. Its wing blades were cutting into metal fragments on the roof of the pit, and hot rain was pouring down on it. The red beam of the plasma cannon was strafing the edge of the maintenance pit, and the rock formations were melting and dripping with molten metal, which was causing a choking acid mist. Sun Wan screamed and threw down the welding gun and rolled down. Her burned leg was torn apart by fragments and her flesh was bloody. Sister Xue, has it been cracked? But 20 falcons surrounded it. The electric whip net raised a blue electric cage. The Shadow Wolf engine was still jammed with slag, and Luo Li couldn't even fly out of the cabin. Luo Li. The glass fist smashed against the Shadow Wolf bulkhead and the thunder reverberated, and the buzzing of the nerve lines was synchronized to 92%. Her silver hair flew and she shouted in despair. Muxue, here comes the blueprint. The man-machine combination is stuck. The heavy iron feet are stuck in the mud and rain. Jiang Chen's military guards are laughing at our novice tomb. Amid the burning smell of ozone on the tablet, Muxue's bloodshot fingers penetrated the keyboard, and she forcibly projected the phantom of the third-generation blueprint. The quantum entanglement transmission module vortexed like twin black holes, the low-frequency buzzing sucked the soul, and the antimatter shield gray mist pulsated and swallowed energy. She gasped and ordered. Sun Quan, inject into the skeleton. Heat-resistant alloy welding quantum lock. Entangled teleportation preheating teleportation tactics. Luo Li brainwave feed. Sun Quan burned her hands and picked up the chip with trembling blue flames danced wildly and melted nanoslag into the Shadow Wolf iron foot joints. The thick skeleton spasmed slightly and sent out a hellish pulse. The red light in the engine cavity tried to fire but the melt jammed, and the rain evaporated and hit her face with a heat wave. Her voice cracked with admiration and despair. Sister Xue, the third-generation blueprint god. Entangled in the double-point lock canyon fissures, the antimatter shield swallowed 90% of the plasma, but the weld burned my tendons, and the alloy's hardness exploded and it could not withstand the first wave of the falcon wing blade. The strong man outside the pit held his head and backed away, wide-eyed, and yelled. The third-generation projection is spinning? The genius girl designed in the rain. Entangled instantly we heard about the military embargo, and the Shadow Wolf skeleton was welded to a thickness of 30%, but the Black Dragon blockade power grid was fully activated, and the 20 iron wings roared in. He was dead. Lin Fan's projected grin expanded, and the prosthetic gun muzzle pulsed with red light. Muxue, the investigation is enough? I leaked the blueprint to Jiang Chen because the family is bankrupt, and your father committed suicide by refusing to confess the prototype of the Black Dragon military. Now hand it over to the third generation before the semi-finals, otherwise Sun Quan will melt first. The falcon wing blade cut into the edge of the pit, the red and blue electric whip network tightened and buzzed like a thunder prison. The hot exhaust steamed into acid mist and choked the lungs. The Muxue tablet connected to the Shadow Wolf in real time. The green code searched to optimize the entanglement module. For illegal AI missiles were fired into the core, and the reverse thrust satellite was offset by 60%. Luo Li jumped into the cabin. Her nerve synchronization surged by 95%, and the blueprint in her mind pulsed like a heartbeat. She roared and tested. Muxue teleportation lock. The Shadow Wolf's thick body trembled. The quantum vortex opened up and sucked the rain and mist at a low frequency, and it teleported and flashed outside the pit. Gap, the iron foot silently crushes the falcon wing blade. The particle cannon recycles the soaring blue beam and tears apart an engine cavity. The explosion fragments hit the nostrils with hot rain. The antimatter shield gray mist swallows the plasma and backfires. The cockpit red alert flashes wildly and screams. Teleporting monster.
Corruption.
Locking my wings, swallowing plasma from the shield. Burning the cabin with the rebound. The guards are invincible with 0 damage. Passers-by in the audience gasped, and a girl screamed and hugged her legs. Luo Li flashed to kill. The third-generation blueprint's magical skills. The Black Dragon Falcon is clumsy and can't catch up. And the Shadow Werewolf's machine skills are top-notch, it's as smooth as a ghost. But the main force of Jiang Chen's military guards hasn't arrived yet, so the blockade network is tightened. Jiang Chen's communication intrusion projection tattoo twisted and roared. Bitch 3? The military guard's quantum cannons are fully activated. Entanglement deflects my lock. The black market exit is sealed. Sun Quan is caught alive. The breakout battle broke out. The Shadow Wolf gyroscope illegal AI turned 82%. Luo Li's muscles tightened and her silver hair evaporated. And the nerves in the cabin were 98% synchronized with burning pain. The thick iron feet sprayed suspended tail flames to crush the clumsy falcon group. The entangled teleportation flashed 3 points in a row. The blue beams bombarded each other with ozone pungent. The antimatter shield gray mist pulsated and recovered 200%, and the remaining plasma energy backfired and 5 aircraft collapsed. In the pit, Sun Quan climbed up and welded the last seam, her voice trembling and confidence rising. Sister Xue, the heat-resistant welding of the skeleton is completed. The teleportation strategy locks the canyon. Luo Li is entangled and killed. However, Lin Fan's prosthetic gun exploded and the red beam hit her shoulder. She fell to the ground with burns and bloody flesh. The projection smiled ferociously. Sun Wan is a prisoner. The blueprint is replaced. You are short of welders in the semifinals, and Mu's debt is doubled. Sun Wan screamed and twitched. Her blood-stained circuit board was stared at Muxue in despair. Sister Xue! Lin Fan's ghost gun was accurate, his shoulder melted, and he entangled the blueprint to save me. But the fangs of the Black Dragon Laboratory came and blocked the rescue route. Luo Li's shadow wolf teleported back to the edge of the pit, and the black hole vortex tried to absorb Lin Fan's prosthetic arm. But the power grid blocked it and buzzed back. The green code on Muxue's tablet blurred the rain and blood. She investigated her father's archives in depth, and the transnational conspiracy was revealed. Lin Fan leaked the prototype to Jiang Chen's Black Dragon Alliance. The military's forbidden technology quantum engine was supplied to the global battlefield. Mu's family was wiped out with a debt of only 2 billion, and the follow-up hunt was endless. Her heart felt as oppressive as a black hole swallowing her soul. She squeezed her fists and said coldly to Lin Fan, "The inner ghost, Sun Wan, will not change. Full control of the third-generation blueprint. I will burn your laboratory in the semi-finals." However, the Falcon's main force of 30 engines suppressed the thunder. The wing blades cut the rain curtain with red light pulses. The plasma network was upgraded and the military frequency was completely blocked, and the black market export lava sealed the heat wave and steamed the air. The old passerby burst into tears and pointed at the sky, trembling. Genius breaks through and kills the 5 eagles? 3 generations of entangled gods, but Sun Wan captured. Lin Fan's gun melted the shoulder. Jiang Chen's army guard's quantum cannon locked the shadow wolf. The maintenance pit became a desperate situation. The top 4 divine team was shattered. The sweat evaporated in the Luo Li cabin, and the nerve pain was like fire. The shadow wolf's nano self-study blue light dimmed by only 5%, and the thick body trembled slightly and was unable to flash again. Lin Fan's prosthetic leg dragged Sun Wan back into the mist, and Scar's smile echoed. Before the semi-finals, blueprint or corpse? Black Dragon coordinates open. Rescue? Try the military guard Iron Wing home. The alarm quantum whip blasted, and the larger shadow roared in the neon blood red of the black market approaching. The suspense of the rescue and the double desperation of the semi-finals were overwhelming, and the black clouds on the rainy night were like fangs devouring the soul. The rain curtain is like a broken quantum vein. The broken alloy on the roof of the black market pit makes a muffled thunder and shatters. Acid rain seeps into the cracks and corrodes the circuit board. Ozone, burning sulfur mixes into a poisonous mist that chokes the lungs. Shadow Wolf's thick body trembled slightly. Only 5% of the nano-self-study blue light dimmed like a candle. The engine cavity was jammed and groaned weakly. Luo Li evaporated and sweated and stuck to the bulkhead. The nerve pain was like a fire whip, and the soul was simultaneously reduced to 92%. She punched the console and the sound echoed, and the wolf's eyes were desperate, staring at Muxue's projection. Snow Sun Wan's blood stains the mist. Lin Fan's prosthetic limb is dragged away. The teleportation deviation is jammed by 40%. Jiang Chen's quantum cannon's red beam locks the entire black market. The blood-red countdown to the semi-finals is over: substitution or death. An old passerby outside the pit held his head and knelt in the mud, mixed with rain. Tears broke down and he roared. Shadow Wolf God kills 5 eagles in a flash? 3 generations of entanglement, teleportation and invincibility. Instantaneous nano-burning slag. Sun Wan's captive welding hand is broken. The Black Dragon Falcon's 30 iron wing blade cuts through the rain like fangs. The maintenance pit is desperate. The Luo Li Wolf King can't fly out of the power grid and thunder prison. Lin Fan projected a ferocious look. Laughter distorted the scar, and the prosthetic arm dragged Sun Wan's blood shadow back into the depths of the mist. The burned girl screamed and twitched. The molten hole in her shoulder was bloody, and her voice broke and echoed in despair. Sister Xue. Lin Fan's gun melted through the nerves, and the blueprint saved me. But the fangs of the laboratory bit off the rescue route, and I am dead. Muxue knelt on the ground and pressed the tablet to her chest. The green code blurred by rain and blood surged wildly. Her heart felt like a black hole collapsing and swallowing everything. Her father's pale face echoed in the cryochamber. The encrypted file revealed the full picture of Lin Fan's inner ghost. The prototype was leaked to Heilong Jiang Chen. The military quantum engine was used for global battlefields. The Mu family's debt of 2 billion was just a cover. and the follow-up pursuit of endless shadow soul eaters. The anger was suppressed into ice blades, her fingers were bloodshot and the keyboard was trembling, and the game in her mind was like a particle storm. Sun Quan was replaced, the blueprint failed Lin Fan, the dream was shattered due to the lack of a welder in the semifinals. In a desperate fight, the Shadow Wolf engine jammed, the Falcon Wing blade cut through iron like mud, and the satellite lock reset was a molten pit. But the whirlpool of the third-generation blueprint projection hummed at a low frequency, and the antimatter shield's gray mist pulsed like a heartbeat. She whispered coldly to herself, "No change." Before the ghost laboratory burned down, Sun Quan welded the third generation at full power, and Luo Li killed Jiang Chen instantly with a combo. The risk was 90%, and his father was gifted to survive horrible security. Quantum teleportation sneaks in. 5 illegal AI missiles are fired into the tablet, ozone burns and stings the nose, the deflection of the reverse thrust satellite increases by 70%, the green code scans the black market prison frequency. Lin Fan's underground fortress, the minefield is surrounded by nuclear explosions, and the backdoor of the prosthetic chip is exposed and 95% of the quantum encryption is eaten away. Luo Lilong's eyes flashed with flames, his muscles tightened and he jumped out of the cabin and roared, "Split up!" The Shadow Wolf attracted Jiang Chen's military guards. I fought on the track while escaping, and burned his black and red residue even after the semifinals were postponed. You save Sun Quan and teleport to lock my brainwaves. The Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet sprayed suspended tail flames, and the engine cavity glowed red to test the jump card. There was a forcible explosion in the shell, the gyroscopic illegal AI turned 82% of the gyro, the particle cannon recovered the blue beam and tore the edge of the pit, the power grid buzzed and shattered, the antimatter shield, the gray mist swallowed the plasma and backfired on the 3 Falcon wing blades, the explosion fragments hit the nostrils with hot rain, and the cockpit screamed and flashed. Wolf King split up and escaped? 3 The shield swallows the core level, and the teleportation deflection cannot be locked. Jiang Chen's main force is chasing the track. The strong passerby stared back and bumped into the cargo box, his voice trembling and breaking into admiration. Luo Li's man and machine merged smoothly like a ghost, the thick iron feet crushed the stupid Falcon, the blue beam mutual bombardment recovered 200%, but the engine was melted. After 10 seconds of weakness, the military guard's quantum cannon suppressed the situation, and the death track. Luo Li's silver hair flew up and she was sweating in the cabin. Her nerves were burning and the pain was 98% synchronized, and her brainwave feed locked into the canyon fissure. She roared through the loudspeaker in despair and turned into fanaticism. Muxue brainwave transmission. Jiang Chen is chasing me. The hooks are full in the semifinals. Muxue gritted her teeth and jumped up. Her old raincoat stuck to her body, her tablet stuffed into her chest and she inhaled the acid mist deeply. The psychological game was like a knife twisting. Sun Quan's burns worsened, the rescue failed and the team was shattered. The blueprint fell to the enemy and a transnational conspiracy exploded. Successfully, Lin Fan's information was revealed, and the 3-generation full-power test drive was reversed. But the red light pulse of the nuclear explosion in the minefield, the 5-meter-thick quantum lock of the prison alloy wall, her fingers flying to project the mini 3rd-generation module, quantum entanglement, single-person teleportation, the vortex is slightly open, and the low-frequency sucking rain and fog teleport to the fog-blind area outside the pit. A passerby girl poked her head out from behind the cargo box and screamed, hugging her legs and trembling. A single biography of a genius girl? A miniature version of the 3rd-generation blueprint shocked the security. The nuclear bombs in the black market prison minefield were indestructible. No matter how fast the blood flew on Muxue's fingers, they exploded into mist and slag. The tablets with green codes rushed into the security, the iron walls of the firewall buzzed back and dripped with hot melt glue, and finally cracked the back door. The frequency eavesdropping of Lin Fan's prosthetic limb was exposed, and the prison switch opened and flashed blue. Her heart was frozen with calculations. 80% offset, 5 seconds of teleportation warm-up, nuclear bomb lock frequency of 1 million Hz per second, risk swallowing souls. But the anger exploded and he roared into the ultimate Trojan horse. Sun Quan, hold on. Father's talent is to burn Lin Fan Jin. Deep in the fog, the black market prison roars like a steel behemoth. The minefield's red net pulse buzzes like a thunder prison, and the nuclear bomb's thermal sensor head shoots red light and cuts through the fog, making a high-frequency howl. Muxue's teleportation vortex opened wide, with a low-frequency buzzing and soul-stirring teleportation around the thunder net. The gray fog shield pulsated and swallowed the red beam of a test-fired nuclear bomb. The heat wave after the explosion backfired and steamed the air with ozone pungent. She rolled down the alloy floor and wiped her knees with blood. The tablet was optimized in real time to lock Sun Wan's life signal. In the prison, Lin Fan drags the girl into the laboratory with his prosthetic arm cracking. Her flesh and blood are burned, her shoulder is covered in molten holes, and the circuit board is dripping. Sun Wan's eyes twitch in despair and whisper, "Sister Shui." Lin Fan injected nerve poison, and the tendons were burned out and cannot be welded. The prototype of the blueprint hides a military secret, the Black Dragon Quantum Inducer. On the battlefield, my father refused to destroy the family because of this. Lin Fan smiled ferociously as his prosthetic gun pulsed with red light. Muxue's blueprint in exchange? Sun Wan's welding hand is useless. You are short of men in the semi-finals. But the green code on the security screen flashed wildly. The Trojan gnawing system crashed, and the switch alarm shattered. A passerby, a black market gangster, peeped from the edge of the prison, gasped with wide eyes and roared, "A genius hack!" A single pass around the nuclear field, the anti-shield swallowed the bomb without damage. Sun Wan's blood shadow flashed as a savior. Muxue sprinted low, the rain and blood blurred the vision. Holding a particle dagger to cut the alloy cage, buzzing and sparks flying, the psychological game was on the verge of collapse. Lin Fan turned around and the prosthetic arm exploded. Sun Wan's hair and tendons were broken, rescue broken dream. But Luo Li's brainwave feed in her brain pulsed like a heartbeat, projecting 3 generations of full module phantoms to suppress the prosthetic chip. And the anti-plant Trojan finally exploded and swallowed up the blue electricity. Lin Fan screamed and retreated, the prosthetic short-circuited and collapsed. "Bitch!" The military encryption penetrates the light. Sun Wan's poisonous needle stabs you to death. Sun Wan burned her hands and climbed up. The blood-stained gauze tremblingly picked up the welding gun and danced with blue flames. Her voice broke. Explosive worship. "Sister Shui saves me. I will weld the poison decoder." Prototype intelligence. The Black Dragon battlefield blueprint is hidden in Lin Fan's laboratory. Quantum entanglement is provided for the drone swarm. Jiang Chen's alliance military guards are all bought out. Muxue fist pinched by and dragged her back to teleport. The gray fog shield pulsed and devoured the chasing nuclear bombs and exploded. The heat wave burned the lungs, the fragments poured down, the teleportation vortex roared, sucked in the mist and reorganized the maintenance pit. The moment the team was reorganized, Sun Wan's burns worsened and the blood flow to her shoulders and legs worsened, but the remaining nanoslag of the 3rd generation was welded with fierce eyes. Blue flames licked and injected into the engine cavity of the Shadow Wolf. The thick skeleton spasmed and the pulse of hell exploded. The red light of the full-power test drive soared. Luo Li's wolf top spiraled back to the edge of the pit. The side battle on the track attracted Jiang Chen's military guards. The blue beams of the particle cannons blasted each other with ozone pungent. The suspended tail flames crushed the clumsy quantum cannon group. The antimatter shield recovered 300% of the gray mist to swallow the aftermath of the nuclear explosion. Her silver hair steamed with sweat and she roared, "Boys, Sui, Sun Wan rescued?" Teleportation combo locks my brain waves. All 3 generations are burning Jiang Chen. A passerby girl screamed and hugged the cargo box and trembled. Rescue God Flash. Sun Wan's welder returns, 3 generations of engine jamming is solved. Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet. Man and machine merge smoothly to slaughter 10 guards. But Lin Fan's private army is approaching with a roar, and the semifinals of the black market track are sealed. Muxue's tablet green code is optimized. Quantum entanglement double point locks the canyon rift plus track curve. Luo Li's brainwave feed is 99% synchronized. Shadow Wolf's teleportation combo flashes at 5 points. Ironfoot has the sound crushed Jiang Chen's black and red remnant wolf projection. The particle recycling blue beam tore the engine to expose the cooling window, and the explosion rolled into the lava abyss. The cockpit screamed, "Combo teleportation ghost." The shield is 70% thin special suction. The 3rd generation full power offset lock. The ace in the semifinals is shattered. But in the dim light of the reversal, Lin Fan's military crisis broke out. The private mecha army of 50 iron-winged falcons plus quantum-heavy cannons roared to suppress the situation. The wing blades cut through the rain screen and the red light pulse blocked the maintenance pit. The projection scar twisted and roared. Sun Quan snatched it back? Before the prototype of the laboratory blueprint burned out, the army's nuclear network was fully activated. The Black Dragon Guard Jiang Chen led the way into the semifinals. Luo Li tried to escape while fighting. Jiang Chen's tattoo projection linked with a grin, and the main force of the military guards locked the curves of the track, and the hot exhaust steamed and acid mist billowed. 3 generations of bitch combos? The track is full of hooks. The ace showdown before the finals will burn you, Shadow Wolf scum. Sun Quan finished welding the last seam and gasped for blood. Her voice was trembling and tenacious. Sister Xue, the prototype intelligence and military secrets are fully controlled. The 3rd-generation heat-resistant skeleton is 50% thicker, since the repair surged by 20%, but the Legion's 50 iron wing blade homeland was full of nuclear bombs. Luo Li was entangled and killed without damage, but the engine was overloaded. Luo Li was burned by nerve pain in the cabin. His thick body trembled and roared at full power. The teleportation combo test pilot Euro 82% sharply rotated the blue beam to sweep, but the Legion's red net rose up with a buzzing thunder, and the old man outside the pit burst into tears and shouted to the sky. Reorganization God's team. Sun Wanwen returned to the 3rd generation and killed 10 guards in a row, but Lin Fan's personal army was overwhelming. Jiang Chen broke into the ace crisis, and the suspenseful soul-eating battle in the semifinals reignited. The flat panel projection was finally optimized, and the bigger shadows roared in the neon blood of the rainy night. The rain curtain tore through the black market dome like a quantum rift, and the acidic mist evaporated into a choking cloud, carrying the stench of burnt sulfur from metal corrosion straight into the heart. At the edge of the maintenance pit, Shadow Wolf's thick body roared and gathered momentum. The red light in the engine cavity beat like a pulse. Only the blue mist of the 3rd-generation full-power nano-self-repair was left, and the heat-resistant skeleton was 50% thick, but it was trembling on the edge of overload. Luo Li was sweating and sticking to the bulkhead. Her neural synchronization was 99% like a fire line burning the soul. She punched the console and the sound echoed. The wolf eyes stared at Muxue in despair. Snow, the Legion's 50 iron wings and red net sealed the pit. Lin Fan's quantum-heavy artillery pulse locked. Jiang Chen's main track suddenly the hook is full. The space wreckage brings a blood-red countdown to the semifinals. The engine is overloaded and weakened for 10 seconds, rushing or smashing. The old man outside the pit held his head and knelt in the mud. The rain mixed with tears and broke down and roared. Shadow Wolf, the 3rd-generation god Flash slaughtered the 10 guards? Lin Fan's private army? The wing blades cut through iron like paper. The Black Dragon Falcon's 30 iron wings buzzed with fangs. Jiang Chen's ultimate form. The black-red behemoth's engine was exposed and it was weak to fight back. The debris belt was covered with meteorite rain and nuclear explosions. Luo Li Wolf King could not fly out of the abyss of the Thunder Prison. Lin Fan's projection scar twisted and grinned, meaning the embers of the blue lightning flickering from the short circuit in his limbs. He dragged his remaining body back into the depths of the mist, and roared in a low voice like grinding iron. Sun Wan's welding hand is useless? Before the laboratory prototype is burned out, the Legion's nuclear network is fully activated, and the Black Dragon Guard Jiang Chen will lead 50 iron wings to slaughter you. And there will be no scum left in the semifinals. Muxue knelt down in a blur of blood, and the green code on her tablet surged like a pounding heartbeat. In her mind, her father's pale face in the cryo container overlapped with the prototype intelligence. The Black Dragon Multinational Consortium bought out the quantum entanglement battlefield blueprint. Lin Fan's inner ghost leaked and destroyed Mu's family. The debt of 2 billion was just a cover, and the follow-up military drone swarm devoured endless souls. The anger was suppressed into a black hole, her fingers were bloodshot and the keyboard was trembling, and she whispered the ice blade. Charge! The entanglement chain is multi-target optimized. Sun Wan's EMP clears the area. Lin Fan burns the front of the laboratory, and Luo Li sends combos to burn Jiang Chen's ultimate form. Sun Wan burned her shoulders and legs. Blood flowed into rivers, and her muscles were twitching with pain from the nerve poison. It interferes with the frequency of the army, but it deteriorates and collapses. The core of the prototype is hidden in the wreckage, a cross-border military engine for the global battlefield. The strong man on the road rolled his eyes and backed into the cargo box, his voice cracking in despair. Genius optimization chain? The 3-generation brainwave feed teleports the 5-point massacre without damage, but the 50 Iron Wing Blade homeland, the space debris belt simulates meteorite rain and cuts the cabin into mud. Jiang Chen's black and red monster shield regeneration is 200%, and Luo Li's man machine is integrated into one engine slack. The Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet ejected suspended tail flames, the engine cavity exploded like a hellhound roaring, the gyroscopic illegal AI turned 82%. Luo Li's brainwave feed locked the entrance to the wreckage belt. Her muscles tensed and she jumped out of the cabin and roared, "Fight separately." Muxue chained me, soon Wan EMP followed. Jiang Chen's main force came to chase and burn his black and red residue. The particle cannon recycled blue beams to tear the edge of the pit and the red net buzzed to pieces. The antimatter shield cracked. The gray mist pulsated and swallowed the red beam of the quantum-heavy cannon. And the hot rain of explosive fragments hit the nostrils. The cockpit screamed and flashed. Wolf King rushes into the wreckage zone? The 3rd-generation shield-swallowing ship-class teleportation deflection cannot be locked. Lin Fan's army's 50 iron wings crushed the track. But the iron-winged falcon blades cut through the rain curtain like 1,000 knives falling. The red light pulse blocked the entrance to the meteorite rain simulation area. And the thunder prison buzzed, and Jiang Chen's tattoo projection linked with a ferocious smile. The engine in the final form of the black and red behemoth exposed its cooling window but regenerated and pulsed wildly. 3 generations of bitch combos? Space debris is full of hooks, nuclear bombs are full of meteorite jungles, and the shield is 70% thin, and the special suction will backfire on you. Shadow Wolf overload melt. Luo Li's silver hair flew up. The cabin was steaming with sweat, and she was burned by nerve pain. She soared to the top at the same time. Her thick body crushed the clumsy iron wings, and the blue beams bombarded each other with stench. Oxygen pungently steamed the air, but the red network of the 50-winged blade homeland rose, and the gray fog of the shield was only 30% thinned. The edge of the hot melt jam in the engine cavity murmured weakly, and the passerby girl screamed and hugged the cargo box and trembled. The army is overwhelming. The Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet, man and machine, merged into one smooth ghost to sweep 10 wings. But Jiang Chen's ultimate black and red beast quantum cannon locked the curve, and the meteorite rain nuclear explosions exploded continuously. Luo Li's wolf pupils were desperate and shattered their dreams. Muxue held the tablet to her chest and jumped up to command. Her raincoat stuck to her body and the acid mist choked her lungs. Her fingers were flying with green codes optimized to entangle the chain locks with multiple targets. The satellite deflection soared by 85%. The brainwave feed projection mini 3rd-generation module vortex opened wide. The low-frequency buzzing soul locked the wreckage zone with the meteorite jungle plus track bends plus Jiang Chen's black and red core. Luo Li, the chain locks are open. Teleport around at 5 o'clock. The anti-shield absorbs all naval guns, and the quantum blast shatters his armored heart. Sun Wan gritted her teeth and burned her body. The blood-stained gauze trembled and she picked up the EMP nanocoil. The residual temperature pulse wave of the blue flame paralyzed the area. She threw it at the pit red network with a low roar. Sister Shui, the EMP interference frequency is fully turned on, and the Legion's brainwaves are garbled. The coil exploded and the blue grid swallowed 50 iron wings. The plasma in the cockpit screamed and shattered. The wing blades cut out of control and cut into meteorite rain. Self-destruction and heat waves poured down. Ozone burned and pungent mixed blood rushed straight to the forehead. The old passerby burst into tears and pointed to the sky and roared. Sun Wan's magic throw. 50 iron wings are paralyzed, dancing and self-destructing. Lin Fan's quantum heavy artillery frequency gnaws and collapses. But Jiang Chen's ultimate black and red beast shield regeneration surges by 300%. The wreckage is strafed with red beams of nuclear bombs, and the Shadow Wolf shield is 20% thin and weak and soul-eating. Luo Lilong's eyes exploded with flames, and the nerve pain whipped his soul but turned into a frenzy. The thick frame of the Shadow Wolf convulsed and the pulse exploded at full power. The entangled teleportation vortex roared and teleported 5 points in a row. The canyon crack flashed around the meteorite blind spot. silently crushing Jiang Chen's army guard's quantum cannon group. The ghosts in the curve of the track tore the red net. The antimatter shield opened up and the gray mist swallowed the naval gun, and the iron-footed gyroscope 82% of the sharply spinning blue beam swept away the remaining wings. The aftermath of the explosion was filled with hot rain, and cockpit debris hit his nostrils like meteorites. The clumsy Iron Wing pilot opened his eyes wide and trembled, his voice cracking with fear. Teleport combo ghost. 3 generations of chain locks with multiple targets locked. The shield is completely absorbed and undamaged by nuclear explosions. Man and machine are integrated into one, heavy and crushing like a god. Jiang Chen's main force is exposed. Jiang Chen's black and red behemoth's ultimate form. The engine cavity roared with red light pulses, and the tattoo projection distorted and roared. Bitch behind? The quantum regeneration shield is 50% thick. The engine exposed to absorb and recycle, backfire on your Shadow Wolf overload. But Luo Li's man-machine merged smoothly like a liquid shadow. The thick iron feet flashed silently on the vest. The blue beam of the particle cannon penetrated directly into the armor core, and the ozone cloud rolled at each other. The gray fog shield pulsated and swallowed the red beam backfire. The final explosion of the quantum cannon tore the black and red heart. The explosion rolled into the lava abyss. The cockpit screamed loudly. The core is shattered. The third-generation quantum blast penetrates. The anti-shield recycles the ship-eating cannon. Luo Li Wolf King reverses the massacre. The strong passerby backed up and bumped into the wall of the pit. His eyes widened and he held his head in admiration and roared. Luo Li shines! The teleportation circle kills 30 wings in a row. The antimatter shield absorbs all naval guns. The core of Jiang Chen's ultimate black and red beast armor explodes. The space debris with meteorite rain turns into a slaughterhouse. The thick shadow werewolf machine is 99% invincible at the same time. Sun Wen gasped. Blood collapsed on the ground, eyes blazing with flames. Sister Xue chained to optimize the massacre. The MP cleared the area perfectly, but Lin Fan's escape projection roared, and the private reserve heavy artillery suppressed the situation. Muxue's tablet scanned the green code wildly, and the psychological game was on the verge of collapse and turned into flames. Prototype intelligence transnational panoramic military blueprint for the battlefield, and his father's talent burned the roots of conspiracy. But in the glimmer of victory, Lin Fan's scar projection showed a twisted smile. His prosthetic limbs short-circuited and dragged his remains into the depths of the fog. He roared and detonated the Black Market prison laboratory. A chain of nuclear explosions. The red network pulse buzzed and thundered in the prison. The 5-meter-thick alloy wall melted and the heat wave steamed the air. Debris pours down with hot rain and pungent ozone. Part of the black market collapses like an abyss of hell. Passers-by scream and collapse. Lin Fan escapes from the bombing of the laboratory. The aftermath of the nuclear explosion consumes souls. The wreckage belt seals off the semifinals. Shadow Wolf wins the qualification, but the black market is destroyed. Luo Linglang's thick body floated with low tail flames. The engine was overloaded, weak and spasmodic, and the self-repair blue fog surged by 20%. Her silver hair steamed with sweat in the cabin and she roared loudly. Snow Jiang Chen's black and red debris. The qualification for the finals is locked. But Lin Fan's nuclear explosion collapsed, and the prototype blueprint was buried in the wreckage. The edge of the sprint pit was blurred by rain and blood. The real-time scanning of the tablet locked the core of the laboratory wreckage. The gray fog shield pulsated and swallowed up the heat wave. She rolled down the alloy fragments and wiped blood on her knees. She held a particle dagger to cut the slag and buzzed and sparks flew everywhere. Sun Wan escort the welding gun. The ultimate prototype. Excavated, the full picture of the multinational consortium. The Black Dragon Army used the quantum entanglement drone fleet to buy out, and Lin Fan's inner ghost betrayed the Mu family and wiped out the whole family. Sun Wan dragged herself to follow, while Lan Yen licked the molten hole and the bloody flesh dripped from his shoulders. His eyes were firm and trembling. Sister Xue. The prototype chip. Exposed, the nerve poison worsens and is welded open. The prototype of the ultimate blueprint emerges in the projection vortex, and the green code reveals the whole picture. The Black Dragon Consortium's global battlefield engine supply. Lin Fan and Jiang Chen's alliance destroyed Mushy Heavy Industries. His father committed suicide to refuse the debt trap. and the follow-up pursuit of the drone Iron Wing soul-devouring world. A passerby girl poked her head out from behind the cargo box, screamed with her eyes wide open, hugged her legs and worshipped her. Muxue God dig it! The prototype blueprint was stolen from the wreckage of the nuclear explosion, the transnational conspiracy was fully exposed, the Black Dragon military bought it out, Lin Fan's escape was also burned in the explosion pit, Shadow Wolf reversed the king in the semi-finals, the team regroups, Luo Li's wolf top spins back, Sun Quan gasps for breath and his eyes are blazing, Muxue squeezes the prototype chip flatly, and the anger in her heart is released into an ice blade frenzy. The father is gifted to survive, and the three lives are united to burn away the corruption. But in the neon rainy night, the shadows roared even more. The Black Dragon guards were approaching with low roars in pursuit of the whole world. The hooks of the finals were like fangs biting the sky. The multinational consortium's ultimate drone swarm fired red light pulses into the depths of the track. The old passers-by burst into tears and pointed to the sky and yelled, "The god of victory is reversed." Luo Li slaughtered Jiang Chen, Lin Fan escaped, and Muxue's prototype revealed the conspiracy. But the Black Dragon and Iron Wings are all over the world, and the final bloody battle is soul-eating in a new era. Luo Li's wolf eyes locked on the projection, her silver hair flying, and she roared, "Shue, the fourth generation of prototype fusion? The Black Dragon is coming to chase him. Burn his battlefield roots." Muxue's fingers were filled with blood and green codes were surging. The blueprint vortex opened in the rain, and the engine roared to end the battle. The rain curtain whipped the black market dome like a quantum storm. The acidic mist evaporated into a poisonous cloud of charred sulfur that corroded metal, and the slag heat wave carrying the residual temperature of the nuclear explosion penetrated the nose and burned the lungs. Alloy debris piled up at the edge of the maintenance pit like severed limbs from hell. Shadow Wolf's thick body was suspended in the air, and the tail flames were low and weak. The engine cavity's red light pulse spasmed and the self-repair blue fog only increased by 25%. The heat-resistant frame was 50% thicker but cracked in the aftermath of overload. Luo Li was sweating and clinging to the bulkhead. Her nerve synchronization dropped to 92%, like a fire whip, and the echo was deafening. She punched the console and the echo was deafening. The wolf pupil stared at Muxue in despair. "Shue, the green code of the prototype chip is being unlocked, but the Black Dragon Iron Wings global celebrity network is suppressing." Lin Fan's fog projection roaring back. Jiang Chen's black and red residue drags the lava abyss to rebirth. The hook is full in the final. The engine is weak and collapses in 15 seconds, modification or corpse. The old passerby outside the pit knelt in the mud and blood. Rain mixed with tears collapsed and roared. The third generation of Shadow Wolf slaughtered Jiang Chen? Lin. The nuclear blast escapes and burns the laboratory. The Black Dragon Guard's Iron Wing fangs are buzzing, and the Black Market Rebel Alliance is also fighting bloody battles. The prototype fusion of the fourth generation dream? The consortium fleet's quantum blockade arena. Luo Li Wolf King cannot fly out of the abyss of rebellion. Lin Fan's projection of Scar is twisted and ferocious deep in the mist. Laughing, the prosthetic limb short-circuited and blue electric embers flashed wildly. He dragged his remains and roared with a grinding sound. Sun Quan's blood collapsed and the poison detoxification deteriorated? Before I sold the prototype military blueprint to the Black Dragon, the assassination group ate Muxue's head. Jiang Chen's revenge black and red fourth generation beast engine regenerated, and the black market in the final game was completely destroyed. Muxue knelt down in a blur of blood. The tablet's green code surged like a heartbeat, overlapping the prototype chip projection whirlpool. Her father's pale face in the cryo container exploded with military intelligence in her mind. The Black Dragon Consortium planned a global mecha rebellion. Lin Fan's inner ghost leaked the prototype to feed the battlefield drone swarm. Mu's debt to wipe out the family was only a cover to snatch the infinite energy cycle core. The bloodshot fingers on the keyboard trembled and twitched, and she whispered the ice blade cutting the night sky. Fusion. Prototype Infinite Loop plus AI Prediction Neural Network. Fourth generation revolutionary solder Shadow Wolf. Sun Quan modified all day long. Lin Fan's assassin came to burn the roots of his prosthetic limbs. Sun Quan burned. Her shoulders and legs were bleeding like rivers, and the residual pain from the nerve poison was like thousands of needles gnawing at her tendons. She lay on the ground panting for breath, stained with blue flames and the remaining warmth of the welding gun. Her eyes were trembling with flames, and she was on the verge of collapse. The prototype chip reveals the whole story of the rebellion. Lin Fan and Jiang Chen were bought out by the Alliance's military blueprint, and his father committed suicide and refused to sell the battlefield soul. The strong man on the road stepped back with his eyes widened and hit the fragments of the cargo box. His voice broke and he yelled in despair. Fourth generation of genius fusion? Prototype infinite. The cyclic AI prediction locks the entire track, but the Black Dragon's 100 iron wings and red net fangs, Jiang Chen's revenge beast shield regeneration is 500%. The assassin assassinates the homeland of the particle dagger. The meteor rain nuclear explosion in the space finals turns into a slaughterhouse, and Muxue's despair breaks her dream in an instant. The Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet sprayed suspended tail flames to test and growl. The engine cavity exploded like a thirsty hound from hell. The illegal AI Euro turned to test the 82% sharp rotation and jammed. Luo Li's brain wave feed locked the wreckage at the edge of the pit. Her muscles tensed and jumped from the cabin to roar loudly. Separate welding. I will escort Muxue's prototype decode. Sun Wan modified to keep up. Lin Fan's assassin projection locks in the assassination. But deep in the fog, Lin Fan's projection twisted and grinned, and the prosthetic limb short-circuited the blue electric pulse to summon the assassin group. The figure in black flashed around the edge of the pit like a quantum ghost. The particle dagger buzzed through the rain curtain and pierced Muxue's back, and the pungent ozone-mixed blood heat wave hit his face. The passerby girl screamed and hugged the cargo box, trembling and collapsed. Lin Fan assassination. The particle dagger homeland's green blade eats the soul. The Black Dragon red network is overwhelming. The Shadow Wolf engine is weak and stuck in self-repair. And the green code optimization of Muxue's tablet also breaks her head. Luo Lilong's pupils exploded. The nerve pain burning body increased simultaneously to 95%. The Shadow Wolf's thick frame spasmed and the pulse exploded at full power. The Iron Foot Euro was 82% ghostly. Spin and crush the group of clumsy assassins. The blue beam particle cannon retracts and tears the green blades into buzzing and shattering. The antimatter shield pulses with gray mist swallowing the daggers. The plasma heats the air, and the cockpit fragments hit the nose like meteorites. The assassins scream and flash. Wolf King escorts and crushes. 3 generations of thick man-machine merge into one to smoothly sweep 10 stabs. But Lin Fan's backup assassination projection is locked. Jiang Chen's revenge black-red beast is approaching with red light pulse. Muxue held the tablet to her chest and rolled to the ground to dodge. Her raincoat stuck to her body and the acid mist choked her lungs and burned her throat. Her fingers were flying with the green code to unlock the prototype chip. The vortex was wide open, and the low-frequency buzzing caused the soul to lock in the infinite energy cycle plus AI prediction neural network for global investment. Shadow. Luo Li, the shield is fully open. The prototype integrates the 4th-generation welding engine cavity. AI predicts the track meteorite plus iron wing trajectory, and backlashes Lin Fan's entire assassin area. Sun Wan gritted her teeth and dragged the burnt body, bleeding, and the gauze dripped with blood and moistened the welding slag. She growling, picking up nanoslag. The blue flame of the welding gun licked the prototype interface. Sister Shui. Modified and welded all day long. When the poison worsened, the gas was cut off. The energy recovery in the infinite cycle soared infinitely, and the AI neural network brainwave locked 100%. Sparks from the welding gun spattered and ozone clouds rolled in. The red light pulse in the Shadow Wolf engine chamber fused with the 4th-generation module. The thick frame was welded 70% thick, and the self-repaired blue mist increased by 50%. And the illegal AI prediction projection mini-track hologram locked the Black Dragon iron wings plus Jiang Chen's revenge trajectory. The old passerby burst into tears and pointed to the sky, shouting, Sun Wan Shun welding. The prototype of the 4th-generation infinite loop AI prediction is activated. The Shadow Wolf engine hums and turns into a beast roar. But Lin Fan's assassin particle net seals the pit. Jiang Chen's black and red revenge beast shield regeneration increases by 600%. And the consortium fleet's quantum heavy artillery dominates the field. The Black Market Rebel Alliance roared together from the depths of the mist. The heavy bodies of the worn-out mechas buzzed with tail flames. The blue light pulses in the engine chamber gathered at the edge of the pit. They projected and scanned the prototype green code. The strong leader's eyes widened and his trembling voice broke in admiration. Genius Muxue reveals the conspiracy. Lin Fan and Jiang Chen alliance Black Dragon rebel military blueprint. Mu family destroys the family and seizes the original drones are used to devour the souls of global battlefields. Our alliance is all out to overthrow corruption in the final round. But Lin Fan's fog projection scar twisted and roared, and the prosthetic short-circuited to summon the backup assassin's red network pulse buzzing thunder prison. Resist the scum alliance? The assassin's particle dagger home eats Muxue Bei's brain. Jiang Chen's revenge 4th generation black-red behemoth engine is exposed and regenerated at full speed. The consortium fleet blocked the final track. Jiang Chen dragged the black and red remnants out of the lava abyss and was reborn. The final 4th generation form of the revenge mecha was 80% thicker in red and black. The shield regeneration pulse was beating wildly. The engine chamber was exposed and the cooling window was buzzing. He smiled and projected. The fusion of the 3th-generation bitch prototype? The black-red 4th-generation quantum regeneration shield is 70% thick. And it will bite you, Shadow Wolf. Infinite loop. The hooks on the track are full of nuclear explosions and meteorite massacres. The silver hair in Luo Li's cabin is flying with sweat, and the neuralgia fever is 100% simultaneous. The thick iron feet of the 4th-generation Shadow Wolf are suspended silently. The integration of man and machine is as smooth as a liquid shadow ghost. AI prediction locks the assassin's trajectory plus Jiang Chen's revenge curve. Blue beams blast each other, and the pungent ozone steams the air. The strong man of the rebels backed up and hit the wall of the pit. His eyes widened and he held his head and shouted in fear. Assassin's particle network is overwhelming. Lin Fan's prosthetic limb short-circuited and the red network blocked it. Jiang Chen's black and red 4th-generation beast wing blade cut like 1,000 knives. Shadow Wolf's 4th-generation fusion test drive also had a meltdown engine. The shell is weak. Muxue's brainwave feeds the projected mini 4th-generation vortex. And the green-coded optimized AI predicts multiple targets plus infinite cycle energy recovery without damage. She shouted and commanded. Luo Li, teleport and burn the assassin. The Rebel Alliance EMP clears the area. Sun Wan followed after the welding, revealing the evidence of Lin Fan's betrayal and broadcasting it all over the world. Luo Lilong's eyes exploded with flames, the Shadow Wolf's thick frame roared with full power, and the entangled teleportation whirlpool roared and teleported to 7 points in a row. The fog-blind area circled and crushed the assassin particles. Subnet, silently tearing apart Lin Fan's projection of the red net. The ghostly lock on Jiang Chen's revenge core at the curve of the track. The gray fog of the antimatter shield opened to swallow up the quantum-heavy artillery with continuous explosions and unlimited recovery. The iron-footed Gyro's illegal AI turned 90% of the blue beam to sweep the wing blade. Hot rain poured down on the cockpit in the aftermath of the explosion, and screams shook the sky. The clumsy assassin pilot opened his eyes wide and trembled, his voice cracking in despair. 20 teleportation flash kills in a row. The 4th-generation AI predicts the locked trajectory. The shield infinitely recycles the ship-eating cannon. The man-machine becomes one and crushes as thick as a god. Lin Fan's red network collapses. Lin Fan's projected scar twisted and regretted and growled. The prosthetic limb short-circuited and the blue electricity backfired and melted, and he dragged his broken body and collapsed deep in the mist. The prototype has an infinite loop? Before the rebellion blueprint was sold to the Black Dragon, the Mu family's debt trap burned the roots. The assassins were all smashed, and the consortium fleet came to save me. But the ultimate Trojan horse of Muxue's tablet exploded the projection, and the green code revealed the whole story broadcast to the black market. Lin Fan and Jiang Chen's alliance military rebelled, and evidence of his father's suicide emerged. The eyes of the rebel alliance exploded with flames and shouted, "The inner ghost is defeated." Muxue's revelation. Lin Fan regrets breaking his body into pieces. Jiang Chen's black and red 4th-generation revenge beast's ultimate form. The engine cavity's red light pulse roared and twisted, and the tattoo projection screamed in despair. The 4th-generation bitch AI prediction is bypassed? The quantum regeneration shield is fully opened, and the backlash is infinite. However, Luo Li's man and machine merged into one smooth liquid shadow, and the thick iron feet flashed on the vest silently, and the particle cannon blew the beam drills directly into the armored heart plus AI prediction offsets the nuclear blast meteorite, mutual bombardment, the ozone cloud, The billowing gray mist pulses and swallows the red beam. Infinite recovery. The final explosion of the quantum cannon tears the black and red core, rolls the lava abyss, the cockpit screams and shatters. Heart blasts slag. The fourth generation of infinite penetration. Anti-shield recovery swallows the world's naval gun. Luo Li Nitian slaughtered the gods. Jiang Chen's projection twisted and collapsed with regret, and his voice shattered. The regeneration of the fourth generation of black and red is useless. The prototype fusion dream is ruined, and the consortium's buyout is invalid. A passerby girl poked her head from behind the cargo box, screamed with her eyes wide open, hugged her legs and worshipped, shouting, Luo Li Shun 2. Teleport 7-point continuous killing assassination. Guess plus Jiang Chen's revenge core exploded. The Rebel Alliance's EMP cleared the field perfectly. Lin Fan's prosthetic arm backfired and melted, regretting the soul-eating. Sun Wan panted and burst with blood and finished the fourth generation, with blazing eyes and tenacity. Sister Shui. The modification of all-day poison deterioration was successful, and the infinite loop AI prediction locked the entire final. The strong man of the rebels knelt in the mud and cried in admiration, pointing to the sky and roaring to shake the dome. Muxue's genius is the fourth generation of revolution. Lin Fan's assassin roared with regret after defeat. Jiang Chen's black and red beast exploded for the second time. The consortium fleet detected the quantum heavy artillery rednet approaching the field, but the Black Market Alliance all attacked in the final game to overthrow the rebellion. Luo Li Shadow Wolf's thick body suspended tail flame beast roars to gain momentum. The engine infinite cycle pulse is always low Ming. Man and machine synchronized 100% wolf pupil locked projection. Silver hair flying, roaring loudly. Shui, the prototype fusion is perfect. The Black Dragon fleet is chasing him, burning his global battlefield roots. The ultimate political fight against the hook to bite the sky. Muxue squeezed the chip on the tablet and the blood blurred, and the psychological anger was released into an ice blade frenzy to burn. The father's talent is alive, and the three lives in one alliance black market new era. The shadows roared even more in the neon rainy night. The Black Dragon Consortium fleet's red light pulse strafed the depths of the track. The fangs of the quantum heavy artillery buzzed, and the old passers-by burst into tears and worshipped and shouted, It's so cool! The fourth generation of Shadow Wolf Invincible King. Lin Fan and Jiang Chen regretted the defeat. The black market's resistance to the final battle was soul-eating and burning. Sun Wan's eyes were dyed with blood, and the whirlpool of the team's reorganization blueprint was wide open. The engine was constantly moving and gaining momentum, and the fangs were opened in a new era of the final bloody battle. The rain gradually thinned, and the acidic mist slowly seeped into the cracks in the black market dome like a defeated poisonous beast. The slag heat wave from the nuclear explosion still sizzled and groaned on the alloy fragments at the edge of the pit, evaporating the pungent aftertaste of burnt sulfur rust. The thick body of the fourth generation of Shadow Wolf floats with a low pulse of tail flames. The blue light in the infinite loop engine cavity beats as steadily as a heart. The gray fog of the antimatter shield slowly converges. The gyroscope illegal AI spins lightly to test the 90% curve projection without any overload cramps. Luo Li's hair was wet and stuck to the bulkhead, her nerves synchronized to 100%. Her wolf eyes slowly calmed down from the embers of fanaticism. She took a deep breath of the cabin air filled with mixed blood mist, and whispered through the loudspeaker that echoed around the edge of the pit. Snow is invincible for the fourth generation. Infinite battery life, AI prediction of global locks on the track, meteorite iron wings, teleportation, 7-point kill streak. We burned through the Black Dragon route. The brawny leader of the Rebel Alliance knelt in the mud and blood. The tail flames of the worn-out mechas hummed low. They stared at the Shadow Wolf's thick frame, which was 70% welded and self-repaired. The blue mist floated in the air. Their voices trembled and broken, and they shouted in admiration. Muxue God! The prototype reveals the ghosts inside Lin Fan. And the Black Dragon's blueprint for the mutinous army is Muxue. The truth about the annihilation burned the fog, and the new king of the black market was born. Our alliance defeated all 500 machines in the finals, and the EMP escorted the Shadow Wolf to slaughter the world. The old passerby broke down in tears and hugged his legs, and the rain and mud fell down his face. He pointed to the sky and collapsed in worship. The fourth generation of the eternal beast roars. Jiang Chen is black and red for the second time. His heart exploded, Lin Fan's prosthetic limbs melted and regretted his soul, and the consortium's quantum-heavy artillery pressed down on the realm and was swallowed up by the gray mist for infinite recycling. It was a blast to the black market, and Muxue's genius Shuetong led the new era. Sun Wan's burned shoulders and legs were stained with blood on the gauze, and the nerve poison was still painful and thousands of needles chewed through the tendons, but she gritted her teeth and stood up, her eyes turning warm. Flexible and tenacious, she dragged the remaining warmth of the welding gun and hummed softly, stroking the interface of the Shadow Wolf engine cavity. Sister Shui. It was welded all day long. The nanoslag was exhausted but stable and not weak. The quantum cannon's heat wave was recycled infinitely without damage. The AI neural network brainwave locked Luo Li 100%. We won the first battle. Muxue's blood-blurred tablet green code gradually stabilized, and the vortex projection of the prototype chip converged into the ultimate blueprint hologram. She squeezed the chip's brainwave feed to lock in the details of the fourth generation, and her psychological anger turned into ice blades to achieve calmness and burn away the fog. Her father's pale face in the cryochamber was resurrected by his talent. Mu's debt trap collapsed, and the black market reputation exploded like neon. She whispered the command and her voice cut through the night sky. Move the workshop. Sun Wan verified the stability. Luo Li's neural fusion test drive. Lin Fan's communication records were hacked and exposed, and the Resistance Alliance escort blocked the Black Dragon Red network. On the eve of the final game, we reaped the fruits. The team reorganized the edge of the pit, and the Shadow Wolf's thick iron feet silently suspended man and machine and glided into one liquid shadow. The rebels smashed the machine and roared with tail flames. The passerby girl crawled out from behind the cargo box, holding the fragments of the tablet with her eyes wide open, shivering and worshipping, screaming. The snow god moved the formation. The fourth-generation Shadow Wolf Infinite Beast King escort team resisted the 500 iron feet to press the fog. Lin Fan escaped and burned the laboratory. Jiang Chen couldn't climb out of the lava abyss. The black market rebellion started. The consortium leader was shaking. Neon tubes buzzed and dimmed deep in the workshop. Acid mist seeped into the cracks of the door and burned the metal edges. Residue from the nano-soldering station accumulated like broken bones on the battlefield, and the aftertaste of ozone from the welding gun mixed with blood and rust in the air hit your nostrils. Muxue sat cross-legged on the soldering station, and the green code of the tablet was surging to optimize the fourth-generation blueprint. Infinite cycle energy recovery perpetual motion core, AI prediction neural network multi-target locking meteorites in the entire track plus iron wings plus curve offset. Teleportation 7-point continuous flash entangled teleportation, plus Euro 90%, ghost turning plus antimatter gray mist devouring infinite. Bloodshot fingers fluttered to unlock the 90% offset of the satellite. The Trojan chain gnawed at the remnants of Lin Fan's backdoor. The low-frequency buzzing soul-draining projection communication record unfolded. Lin Fan's scar projection secretly discussed with Black Dragon's top management. The prototype military quantum drone group was bought out. The Mu family's debt was doubled by 2 billion. Jiang Chen's guards blocked the track. The global rebellion blueprint is for battlefield soul-eating.
Sun Wan's brandversand.
Her shoulders and legs were bleeding. She held up the welding gun to verify the engine cavity interface. Blue flames licked to test the pulse, and the stability of the projection shot up to 100%. She panted and her eyes were flaming and trembling with tenacity. Sister Shui. Unlimited battery life with zero heat melt. 99.9% lock-in for predicted dodge simulated meteorite rain. 80% weld thickness 80% of the skeleton's self-repairing blue mist per second. Painless fusion of neural network brainwave feeds. A perfect revolution. Luo Li jumped out of the Shadow Wolf cabin door. Her silver hair steaming with sweat. Her neural synchronization was 100% human-machine integration, and the aftertaste was like a liquid shadow. She stepped into the workshop. The thick iron feet reverberated, and the wolf eyes locked on the blueprint projection and roared. Fusion test drive. Snow brainwave feed is fully turned on. I am burned through. Black dragon fangs. Muxue nodded, and the green code of the tablet was injected into the neural network. Luo Li's silver hair was erected and her brainwaves were violent like a fire whip. The Shadow Wolf's engine cavity roared like a perpetual beast, and the thick skeleton's pulse beat wildly. The illegal AI rotated 90% of the global projection workshop. She jumped into the cabin. Her nerve pain turned into a feverish and painless one. She suspended her iron legs and teleported 3 points in a row around the welding station, silently tearing the air with billowing ozone clouds, devouring the antimatter mist and testing plasma hot rain to recover unlimited amounts, and retrieving blue beam particle cannons to simulate mutual bombardment with zero damage. A passerby in the workshop stepped back and bumped into the alloy wall with his eyes rounded. His voice broke in despair and turned into a roar of admiration. Luo Li Wolf King Shun Fusion. For generations of man and machine merged into one as thick as a god, teleporting and locking corners to predict meteorites. Infinite gray fog swallowing plasma and the roar of a perpetual beast. The black market has never been seen before, and Muxue's blueprint swept across the sky. Sun Quan gritted his teeth and worshipped with his blood-stained gauze. His eyes were flaming and tenacious on the edge of collapse. There is zero weakness in the test drive. Sun Wan's welding poison worsens and it is worth it. Luo Li is 100% invincible. The black market radio bursts with neon. Muxue's ultimate Trojan hacks into the global system. Lin Fan's communication record projection sweeps every screen like a quantum storm. Scar distorts and roars to sell the prototype. Evidence of his father's suicide emerges, and the Black Dragon family's debt trap is fully exposed. Projections of strong men from the Rebel Alliance gathered on the streets. Thousands of old mecha-tailed flame beasts roared together. The old passerby burst into tears and held his head, kneeling down and shouting loudly in the dome. Lin Fan is a ghost and his body is broken into pieces. God Muxue reveals the Black Dragon's rebellion, and the military blueprint engulfs the global battlefield. Mu's talent takes revenge, and the black market rebellion burns to its roots. Deep in the fog, Lin Fan drags and burns. The prosthetic limbs were melted, the projection was distorted and regretful, and the iron was grinding and roared. Trojan horse eats my communication. The prototype buyout failed, the consortium saved me. But the girl passing by in the black market screamed and burned Lin Fan's poster. The firelight reflected her eyes wide in admiration. The rebellion is awesome. The snow god is in charge. 500 broken machines attack the finals, block the red network and burn Lin Fan Gen. The sudden engine roar tore apart the workshop dome. Jiang Chen's black and red remnant guard group. 20 iron winged fangs buzzed with red light pulses. The wing blade cut the rain curtain particle dagger. The green blade swallowed the air and drilled directly into the crack of the workshop door. The residual heat of the lava steamed and bloody rust hit the face. Jiang Chen's projection crawled out of the lava abyss and roared twistedly. The blueprint of the 4th generation bitch? The guards slaughter your workshop, and the revenge of the 5th generation black and red is blocked on the track. A passerby, a mechanic, hugged his head and knelt down in fear, collapsed and screamed. Jiang Chen attacked. The iron wing red net pressed down on the top, the wing blade cut with 1,000 knives. The workshop alloy corpse was broken, and the green code of Muxue's tablet also exploded in the head. Luo Li's wolf eyes exploded, and neural fusion was 100%. Jumping from the cabin, the shadow wolf's thick body roared with full power. Man and machine merged into a liquid shadow, ghostly levitated. AI prediction locked the 20 iron wing trajectories plus curve deviations, teleported 5 points in a row and then made no sound. The blue beam swept the wing blades and pungent ozone steamed the air. The guard leader's eyes widened and his trembling voice broke in despair. The Wolf King teleports and flashes. The 4th generation of prediction locks the whole area. The heavy crushing swallows the red network infinitely. Jiang Chen guards 20 explosions. The black and red revenge dream is ruined. Sun Quan threw the EMP nanocoil with blood, and the rebound pulse paralyzed the remaining wings and self-destructed to clear the area. His eyes were blazing and roared. Luo Li's counterattack is perfect. The workshop is intact. Jiang Chen can't climb out of the lava. Lin Fan's projection of a sinister smile in the depths of the mist summoned a military crisis. The Black Dragon Consortium's red network blocked the entire track. The fangs of the quantum heavy artillery buzzed and deployed a swarm of drones to eat the air. The engine exposed the cooling window and the red light pulse roared into the neon night sky. The rebel strongman's projection shouted urgently. Lin Fan jumped over the wall. The drone swarm track was turned into a slaughterhouse by meteorite rain and nuclear explosions. The consortium fleet came in person. and the black market was blocked. The green code-optimized satellite of Muxue's tablet was offset by 95%, and the team rushed to the edge of the arena. The Shadow Wolf's thick tail flames hummed to escort them, resisting the EMP of the 500 broken machines. After clearing the ground and clearing the way, passers-by and old people burst into tears and worshipped and shouted. The team breaks out. Muxue hacks into the system. The fourth generation of Luo Li has unlimited power. The Rebel Alliance burns the blockade. The workshop technicians widened their eyes and held their heads in worship. The drones are overwhelmed by thousands of beasts, but the gray mist swallows them. The snow god Trojan broadcasts the truth to the whole area. Lin Fan's military crisis backfires. Neon pulses were fired at the entrance to the arena. Muxue's brainwave feed hacked into the main system. The ultimate Trojan blast broadcast the entire black market plus the global dark web. The complete record of the Black Dragon Rebellion of Lin Fan and Jiang Chen alliance, the evidence of his father's suicide plus the prototype military blueprint was exposed. The roar of the rebellion shook the sky, and the rebels' machine-breaking beast roar broke through the red network. Luo Li's silver hair was flying in the wolf cabin, and his nerves were 100% wolf-eyed locked on the final battle track. The pulse of his thick frame was always moving and he roared. Snow, the truth burns the fog. In the final race, I will combine man and machine to kill the leader. But the giant shadow roared down deep in the track, and the metal throne of the leader of the Black Dragon Consortium suspended the core of the fleet, projecting the old man's sinister smile cuts through the night sky, and the taboo weapon unfolds holographically. The black vortex of quantum soul-eating cannon fodder swallows the light, and the engine chamber exposes the ever-moving red light pulse as hungry as hell. Little girl Muxue, the fourth-generation prototype was stolen? In the final competition, I will personally release the soul-eating taboo, and the track will become a drone graveyard plus a meteorite nuclear explosion abyss. Your Shadow Wolf will be wiped out. Global rebellion, open the fangs. The leader's prosthetic eyes locked on the Shadow Wolf. The drones buzzed together and fangs opened. A passerby girl poked her head from the edge of the arena. Her eyes widened and she hugged her legs, then screamed in shock. The leader of the consortium is here in person. The forbidden soul-eating cannon engulfs the world, and the track is blocked for thousands of people. The beast is overwhelming, but Muxue's fourth generation of perpetual gray fog is gathering momentum. Luo Li's Wolf King's eyes are blazing. The suspense of the peak showdown is sky-eating, and it's a new era of excitement. Sun Wan's blood-stained eyes are firm and flat. The vortex of the team's blueprint is wide open. The Resistance Alliance is roaring in the dome. The rainy night is full of shadows, and the final battle hook is full of burning black mist. The neon pulses at the entrance to the arena were like blood-red fangs tearing through the acid rainy night sky. The black vortex of quantum soul-eating cannon fodder slowly opened from the core of the Black Dragon's metal throne fleet, swallowing the surrounding light and turning it into an endless black hole that pulsed with hunger and thirst. The engine cavity was exposed to red light and roared to the ground. The stench of plasma and rust in the air hit the nostrils. A swarm of drones and thousands of beasts gathered in the sky above the track. A meteorite nuclear explosion simulated a rain curtain and poured down the edge of the alloy pit.
Molten slag was spattered everywhere.
The brawny leader of the Resistance Alliance lay low in the mud with the tail flame of the broken mecha. He stared at the giant shadow fleet with round eyes, and his voice trembled and broken, and he shouted in despair. The leader personally came to the Forbidden Soul Eater. The track turned into a cemetery. The fourth generation of Shadow Wolf Infinity was also wiped out. Lin Fan, Jiang Chen, the Red Net Revenge Alliance overwhelmed. The black market is over. Fight against the devouring of 500 iron feet by the gray mist. A passerby girl hugged her legs and knelt down in tears, screaming with rainwater and mud sliding down her face. Commander Muxue, the genius Shuetong? The consortium fleet's quantum heavy artillery destroyed the workshop, and the Luo Li Wolf King's man-machine body was welded together. We are all dead. The dream is shattered by neon. Lin Fan dragged his molten prosthetic body into the car deep in the mist, the cabin in the form of a black and red fusion beast. The thick frame was welded with red network pulses. The engine cavity was overloaded and the red light beast roared. He cut the night sky with a distorted and sinister smile. The scarred face twitched and growled. Muxue bitch, the ultimate Trojan that eats my communications? The leader came in person to buy out the failure of the prototype. It doesn't matter, Jiang Chen's black and red 5th generation ultimate beast is reborn to protect you. The fleet of drones blocks the entire track, and the soul-eating cannon will swallow your shadow wolf in an infinite cycle. The source of black market corruption. I, Lin Fan, personally crush your family's dream of rejuvenation. Jiang Chen crawled out from the residue of the lava abyss. The black and red 4th generation ultimate beast form's second regeneration shield 600%. The pulse is beating wildly. The iron wing fangs cut through the rain screen. The green blade particle dagger buzzes and locks on the shadow wolf. The projection roars and eats the soul. Luo Li, the silver-haired wolf bitch. The second heartburst makes me reborn for the 5th generation. The curve of the track is offset by 90% and teleports to kill you for 4 generations in a row. The military buyout of Muxue's blueprint is exposed. Kill your team first to pay for it with blood. Black dragon head brain prosthetic eye red net swept the whole place, and the old voice echoed in the dome like metal grinding iron. Little girl stole the 4th generation of the prototype? The final game turned into a slaughterhouse. The soul-eating gray and black vortex absorbed the global energy. The drone meteorite nuclear explosion plus Jiang Chen and Lin Fan's coalition forces attacked. Your resistance alliance has thousands of broken machines. Not even a scrap is left. Kneel down and present the blueprint, or it will be ashes. Muxue sat cross-legged on the edge of the arena, mud and blood. The green code of the old data tablet surged, and the satellite offset soared by 98%. Bloodshot fingers flying and brainwave feed locked the 4th generation details. Her mental ice blade cut the embers of conspiracy, and whispered the command to cut the night sky. Sun Wan paralyzed Lin Fan's command center MP ultimate pulse. Luo Li, full power human-machine integration. The revolution mode is activated. Burn through the black dragon root. Sun Wan's burns worsened. Blood collapsed on her shoulders and legs, and dripped on the tablet. She gritted her teeth and held on to the nano-welding gun, which was sizzling with residual warmth. Her eyes were trembling with fire and she threw an overloaded version of the homemade MP nanocoil. The pulse wave rebounded and spread like a blue storm, paralyzing Lin Fan's car. The center of the red network buzzed and short-circuited, and the drones exploded to clear the area, pouring hot rain and pungent ozone steaming the air. The projection in Lin Fan's cockpit distorted and screamed in despair. Bitch, Sun Wan pulses to eat my center. The red network is paralyzed. Jiang Chen's beast form is clumsy and shifted. Leader, save me. The strong man of the Resistance Alliance stepped back and broke through the mecha with eyes wide open. His voice cracked with fear and shock. Sun Wan's magic throw. Lin Fan's command shattered. The drone self-destructed into the gray fog cemetery, and the MP escort of the 500 broken machines opened the way. Muxue's team went against the will, and despair reversed. Luo Li steamed with sweat and jumped into the shadow wolf cabin door. 100% of the neural synchronization of brain waves was violent, like a fire whip, soul-sucking and painless madness. The human-machine integration of liquid shadows wrapped around the thick skeleton pulsed the eternal beast roar. The engine cavity blue light infinite loop zero heat melt opened with a bang. The gyroscope illegal AI rotated 90% of the full-range projection track meteorite iron wing, curve offset plus drone. Trajectory locked 99.9%. The shadow wolf's iron legs levitated and teleported at 7 points in a row, tearing apart the rain curtain and rolling ozone clouds. The blue beam particle cannon recycled and blasted each other with endless heat waves. The antimatter gray fog opened up and swallowed the red pulse of the quantum heavy cannon. The cockpit of the heavy crushing clumsy drone screamed and shattered and splashed slag. Jiang Chen's black and red 5th generation ultimate beast form, the iron wing fangs clumsily pursued. The engine exposed the cooling window. The red light overloaded and pulse roared. The green blade particle dagger cut the air and bit into the shadow wolf, but Luo Li's wolf eyes exploded and the AI prediction was locked. Teleported 5 points in a row and then the silent blue beam swept the wing blades and evaporated. The antimatter gray mist swallowed the red net shield, regenerated 600% infinitely. The iron-footed gyroscope turned 90% ghostly and crushed Jiang Chen's core heart for a second blast. The projection in Jiang Chen's cabin widened his eyes and trembled. His voice cracked and despaired. Luo Li Wolf King teleports and flashes. The 4th generation of prediction locks the entire domain of my beast form. The thick gray mist swallows the red pulse in an infinite loop. The cycle engine overloads and explodes my 5th generation core. The second heart is shattered, and the dream of revenge is black and red. Abyss. A passerby mechanic crawled out from the edge of the pit, holding his head and kneeling down in fear and then screaming in admiration. Jiang Chen's overlord beast form is clumsy and rolls lava. The Shadow Wolf man and machine merge into one smooth beast roar. Teleport to kill thousands of drones and beasts. Luo Li's silver hair is invincible. The black market has never seen such excitement. The track incorporates all black market elements: neon curves, cracks, canyons, meteorites, rain and nuclear explosion craters, alloy fragments, molten slag, heat waves, steaming bloody rust. Lin Fan's beastly form of a clumsy suspended red net firing random pulses. The consortium fleet's quantum-heavy artillery, the fangs buzzing, and the environment is shrouded in multi-layered defensive gray fog. Luo Li Yinglang blasted the naval gun with full power. The infinite energy blue beam particles bombarded each other and swept away the hot rain with zero damage. The antimatter gray mist swallowed the nuclear explosion, and the aftermath was recycled forever. The thick skeleton self-repaired with blue mist that was 10% welded per second and 90% thick, and the pulse was steady. The metal throne of the Black Dragon's leader is locked with the red net, and the black vortex of soul-eating cannon fodder opens wide and swallows the track. The light turns into energy and a hungry smile. For generations of infinity, even if you pass through multiple layers of defense, the soul-eating ashes will fly away. The clumsy attack of Jiang Chen and Lin Fan's coalition forces is enough to crush you. The strong man of the rebels broke through the plain and roared with tail flames. Escort staring at the ghostly trajectory of the Shadow Wolf with wide eyes, shouting in adoration with a trembling voice. Luo Li shuttled through the defense layer and teleported at 7 points. The AI predicts that the meteorite will explode and the nuclear explosion will be blocked. The gray mist will swallow the naval guns infinitely. Jiang Chen's 5th generation will explode and roll into the pit. The leader's fleet is shaking. Thousands of iron feet in the Resistance Alliance worship the Wolf King. The vortex of Muxue tablet's green-coated ultimate prototype blueprint chip is wide open, and the brainwave feeds real-time fusion revolutionary mode, infinite cycle of energy reversal to absorb the heat wave of the entire track plus self-destruction of drones plus mutual bombardment of quantum-heavy artillery. The blue light in the Shadow Wolf's engine cavity skyrockets, and the roar of the perpetual beast shakes the sky. The AI neural network multi-target locks the leader fleet plus Lin Fan's car, plus the remaining red network. The nano self-repair increases the skeleton weld thickness by 20% and is 100% immortal. Sun Wan held the blood-stained gauze on the ground. Her eyes were tough on the edge of collapsing flames, and she roared loudly. Sister Shue's revolution is activated. Absorb the energy of the entire field and destroy the ship with one blow. Lin Fan's center is paralyzed. The residual effect of my welding gun seals the escape route. The team is invincible. Luo Li's nerves are 100% wolf pupil flame locked high. In a one-on-one challenge, Lin Fan's clumsy beast roared and sprayed red pulses randomly, but the Shadow Wolf teleported 9 points in a row and circled the canyon bend silently. The blue beam quantum cannon penetrated Lin Fan's thick frame. The gray mist swallowed the prosthetic limbs and melted the remaining body to recover infinitely. The engine cavity was overloaded and blasted the source of corruption, causing a hot rain of molten slag. The projection in Lin Fan's cabin was distorted and he regretted the soul-eating roar. Revolutionary mode absorbs the energy of my red network. Quantum penetrates the soul-eating. Muxue's blueprint goes against the sky. The black market is completely corrupted, and the Black Dragon buyout dream is shattered. An old passerby burst into tears and worshipped with his legs folded, and the rain mixed with mud slid down. Lin Fan's car exploded clumsily. Luo Li single-handedly pierced the heart with the quantum cannon. The Shadow Wolf revolution was thick and immortal, swallowed the whole audience. Sun Wan's EMP god helped. The collapse of the consortium was so refreshing. The revolution mode is fully activated. The Shadow Wolf tail flames low and ready to attack, absorbing all the energy of the track. The gray and black vortex reverses and explodes. The antimatter gray mist swallows the core of the leader's metal throne fleet. The blue beam particle cannon ultimate mutual bombardment. The quantum soul-eating infinite recovery. The thick iron-footed gyroscope 90% crushes the remaining group of clumsy drones. The heat wave steams the air. And the ozone is pungent. The prosthetic eye of the leader of the Black Dragon was shattered and the red net was wide open in despair. and the old voice collapsed. The prototype revolution absorbed the soul-eating energy and counterattacked. For generations of infinite immortality penetrated multiple layers of destroyers. The new era of the global blueprint. The roots of the Black Dragon are destroyed. The core of the fleet exploded with nuclear explosions in the abyss. The Red Net blockade collapsed, neon fragments rained, and the cracks in the black market dome expanded and the acid mist retreated. The strong man of the Resistance Alliance knelt down and roared in the dome. Shadow Wolf destroyed the ship with one strike. Muxue disclosed the blueprint for revolution. Luo Li Wolf King's revenge was completed, and the leader of the consortium was wiped out. The new king of the black market was born, and thousands of iron feet will always follow. A passerby girl opened her eyes wide and hugged the fragments of the tablet, trembling and worshipping, screaming. The gray mist of the revolution swallows the world. The family debt trap is burned out. Mu's heavy industry is revived. Sun Quan is tenacious and undying. The final battle is exciting, and the glory of freedom eats the sky. Muxue got up and projected the blueprint of the ultimate prototype of green-coded global broadcast into the neon night sky on her tablet. The Black Dragon military's quantum entanglement drone swarm plus transnational conspiracy was fully exposed. The global dark web plus black market screen vortex unfolded. Infinite loop perpetual motion plus AI prejudgment divine network plus revolutionary absorption mode was released for free. The pale face of his father's cryocapsule was projected back to life, and the genius instructions to live and burn the conspiracy echoed in the dome. Mu's debt of 2 billion collapsed and evaporated. The neon lights of the new era of the black market exploded. The Resistance Alliance broke down with 500 machines, and thousands of passers-by knelt down in worship. The voice cracked and moved and shouted. Snow God reveals the blueprint. In the new era, everyone has unlimited mechas. The family is rejuvenated and glorious. Luo Li, the silver-haired wolf king, has calmed down in revenge. The team is free, and the readers are satisfied. Luo Li, the shadow wolf, emerged from the cabin door, with flying silver hair and a human-machine integration. The lingering liquid shadow was lingering. Her wolf eyes turned to lock Muxue gently, and she whispered through the loudspeaker, cutting through the reverberation. Shui, the truth will burn away the black fog. Revenge is over, and we will lead a new era. Sun Quan stood up with bloodshed, her eyes turned into tears, and she hugged the team with tenacity. Sister Shui, after welding for a lifetime, the revolution will be immortal. The despair in the workshop was like a mine collapse. Sun Quan burst into tears, hugged Luo Li and trembled. Sister Shui, we are done. Sister Luo Li's internal organs are ruptured. Shadow Wolf has not warmed up. Lin Fan betrayed. Jiang Chen copied the blueprint. The family debt will never be repaid. The ridicule of those guards came true. We are trash. The strong man's mecha stepped closer. Spider webs opened on the ground, and the roar of the engine was deafening. Little girl, kneel down and hand over the tablet. Lin Fan's bounty is enough to make you a whore for a night. The surrounding rock walls trembled. Gravel fell like rain, and the smell of dust and blood filled the air. The rain stopped, the acid mist dissipated, and the neon pulses reflected the thick frame of the new King Shadow Wolf in perpetual motion. The shadow of the official ship in the distance was faintly approaching the dark network storm, but the vortex of the team's blueprint was wide open, and the suspenseful new adventure was sky-eating. The black market was reborn, and the dream of mechas extended infinitely.